Hello everyone and welcome to the final game session of Rewriters of History. Today we are going to finish this campaign, or at the very least the first season of it. We'll see if we do a second season someday, because I still have plenty of ideas to do with that setting. But for now, we start today's game as your characters are entering somebody new's a new person's memory palace. But before that, I just wanted to do like a little previously on the Writers of History. So, a recap of the useful information that we definitely need everyone to know for today's game. Your characters, after having revealed the existence of the shadow organizations to the world at large, have started making moves on the hierarchy of the Hermes, and in order to fully defeat them, your goal has been to try and find the memory palace of Orpheus, the first Hermes, and the one who has a memory palace that can potentially connect to every single other memory palace in existence through all of his students. So, if you are able to overtake this memory palace, you will have access to the entire organization, to all of the dead Hermes and their students, back all the way to those who live to this day. To that end, you started going into the memory palaces of different Hermes, which had been in the verse that you bombed and killed a few Hermes from. And your characters are still doing this. And another important thing, the only things that you know about Orpheus is that he bears the name of a famous Greek myth. You also know that he is supposedly controlling the ruby table, a group of Hermes dedicated to finding pieces of the gods in order to make an elixir that will allow whoever drinks it to become a god themselves. So, I think that's all of the important information. And right now, you enter a memory palace that looks familiar to some of you if your characters have ever been in England before. It is a theatre, a very, very old theatre that has been preserved to this day. It's completely made out of wood. It's somewhat circular with stage on it, and yes, as you appear, you basically appear at the entrance as if you're about to walk into it and to observe a play, but there seems to be no one present. You know that you're either popping up in the memory palace of one of the Hermes that were in the audience of what's his name, Eric Douglas's verse, or in one of the performers who I believe you tried to save as many as possible when you bombed the verse. Anyways, that's where your characters are right now, looking for clues as to where Orpheus is. So, as you appear, what do you do?
I'm going to look around to try to figure out whose memory palace this is.
Right. You can do. I was gonna say you can make a history check, but that is not necessarily a skill that exists in this game. Because Yeah. So, if you have a domain, no, I don't think you have a domain that has to do with this. You do have the domain English, which does help a little bit. Could you roll? I think roll for search. You're trying to like gather the information about this place. So, go ahead.
13.
Okay. Yes. You look around, and yeah, it seems pretty clear to you that the person who's in this whose memory palace this is a playwright from the Shakespearean times, and and that's like this is the theater that in which most of Shakespeare's plays were placed. But like as you look more closely, it actually looks like it's a reconstructed version of that what's it called, of that place, based on memories that are not quite accurate. It seems like there's like the basically it looks like the memory palace has been reconstructed to look like a theater, and it might not have been a theater when it's when the person died. And you hear you hear the sound of things being thrown around, things being shuffled through, like coming from backstage after your search, after you've started searching.
All right. I'll turn to the other two and say, I think this was the memory palace of the guy we met in. Names are escaping me.
Eric Douglas's verse.
Eric's verse.
I think you're right. It definitely, yeah.
I also hear someone rummaging around out back.
Oh.
I point like to backstage.
I nod.
I stealthily head backstage.
All right. Roll for stealth, please.
Oh, so maybe I stealthily head backstage. Let's see if I head backstage stealthily or not.
Enough. Stealthily enough.
I appear to head backstage with incredible stealth.
Okay. What? Oh, wait. Is there a... No. Who activated the 3D dice rolls? Why is it automatically activated? I didn't allow for that. Okay.
I've activated mine, so I should only see mine.
Yeah, but I don't know why, but mine was activated as well. Okay, yeah, no, that is very stealthy. Okay. You choose your darkness dice, I would assume.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, you find basically Francis Bacon in like looking like this for the looking like himself for the first time, looking like this, and yeah, he's shuffling through chests full of disguises. Basically, you see that he has he's put on this sort of like armor it's a prop armor. It seems made out of metal, but yeah, he's like quite terrified, and he has like a he seems to be like stockpiling behind him weapons, which like you can instantly see that most of them are not sharp at all, or prop swords and knives that, like, when you try to stick someone with them, like the blade just goes back into the hilt to pretend stab people. And he has not noticed you come in.
What I don't recall what exactly our last encounter with him, what happened.
You He realized that you were a Neo Hermes. He told you he was a Neo Hermes himself, and that he would get murdered by the Hermes if he didn't perform his play very well this time, because he'd been lacking in entertainment, and they would be more entertained by his death. And this entire time he'd been pretending to be Shakespeare. And then you bombed his play, and so yeah, that's the last interaction you had with him. That was a couple of hours ago.
So we were trying to bomb his play
to kill,
because we wanted to
you,
kill all the...
The audience were a bunch of Hermes, and you took the opportunity of being inside of that verse to try to kill as many as possible.
But he's not a Hermes.
He's a Neo Hermes, pretending to be a Hermes and pretending to like be just basically entertaining them in new verses by like playing by like dramatizing them.
All right, so we don't have a negative relationship with this guy, then.
Not so far, no.
Are the other two coming, or are they waiting back, or what are you guys doing?
If I think that unless they roll for stealth, they're not here yet. They're not backstage. You managed to make your way like past all of the floor without making any of it creak, like you're silent as a shadow in the night. Philip and Oliver, what are you doing?
Once I see Chris sneaking up, I'll attempt to follow.
Okay. Yeah, you're also not noticed by Mr. Bacon.
I think I'll stay back until they call me back, just in case he's...
Okay. Yeah, Oliver, you make it backstage as well, only to have like a prop, apparently plastic grenade being thrown over your head by Francis, who's just like still shuffling through an entire like chest. What do you do?
I look at you and shrug.
I guess I'll look back and shrug as well.
Okay, so Philip, Oliver shrugs at you.
I guess I'll move forward with them.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you are not as stealthy unless you make a roll, and I think Francis turns around to sees the three of you stepping in, grabs the nearest prop sword and says, "It's you. What are you doing here? How did you get in here? You're not my masters, or their masters. In fact, I believe you're still alive. Wait, did you die in the explosion? What's happening? Answer my questions."
That's all a little bit complicated. Look, for now, just know that we're not here for any malicious intent.
Yes, just like is it just like when you didn't have the malicious intent when you killed all of my patrons, some of which swore that they'd have my head if I didn't perform well earlier?
We don't. That was just a moment of panic, I suppose.
Well, we have no problem killing people who want to go around killing people. So those guys wanted to go around killing people, in particular you, if you didn't entertain them. But you know what? Now, thanks to us, they won't any longer be trying to kill you. So you're welcome.
Yes, but not all of them, not all of my patrons were there, and when they learned what happened, I don't know how to. I don't know how to. I can't stop them from coming into my memory palace through, and I can't really convince them that this whole explosion thing wasn't my fault.
Oh, you can blame me. You can tell them I did it. In fact, if they want to say something or do something about it, you can tell them that I'll be happy to meet with them.
I suppose that might...
And then you can tell them if they have a problem with that, I'll just kill them all.
All right. I think you're underestimating their numbers.
No, I'm trying to help you by giving you an easy way out.
Yes.
You can throw everything on me. I think that it'd be very challenging, but I can still do it. But that's besides the point. The point is we're trying to give you a way out of this. Throw all the blame on us. Say, blow it out of proportion as much as you want, but do whatever has to be done to make sure they understand that you didn't have anything to do with it. Because the truth of the matter is, you had nothing to do with it.
Yes, well, it doesn't change the fact that now a lot of them might be too scared to come into the verses that I'm organizing plays in, and which means less people will come to my to the verses, and my entire career was already looking bad enough as it is. I was doing a horrible job copying Shakespeare's works, and now it's about to get worse. What?
Maybe you were doing a wonderful job of doing your own version of Shakespeare's works.
Yes, but the problem is I'm not sure my audience quite liked them. Anyways.
Well, they're dead now, right?
Some of them, yes. It's not like I can there's going to be more of them. They just keep assassinating each other once every 100 years, and the only people who can visit my place are anyways. Never mind that. Why did you come here? What are you doing here? Did you come here on purpose? Because, in case you didn't know, this is my memory palace.
Did we come to see a play? I look at the others.
I suppose even if we didn't intend to, it's what we're here for at this point.
Well, I haven't organized. Sorry, I haven't prepared anything for you and my actors are currently in their memory palaces, in their own memory palaces, probably recovering from the explosion. If there's nothing else, I have to prepare a way to convince them that all of this wasn't my fault. So if there's no information I can provide you with, help I can provide you with, just go, please.
I'm going to whisper in Philip's ear. Is there any way to change what your memory palace looks like, or what your appearance is once you're dead?
You've had evidence of that in just the previous memory palace that you went in. At the end of the last game, you were inside of the memory palace of this person who had incorporated the architecture of Philip's labyrinth inside of her memory palace to trap people in there. So yes, there should be the way to do that. So Philip, like you.
Yeah, I relay that information.
Okay.
That makes sense. I guess we should probably question absolutely everyone on whether they're Orpheus or not, then?
Probably so.
And then
Orpheus?
I'll whisper the same thing to Chris as well.
Sorry. Like, yeah, you're whispering. What? Like, yeah, I think Francis would be like, "What are you whispering about? Come on, you're in a theater. When you whisper, you do it loudly enough so that the audience knows what you're up about, and that everybody is on the loop."
Maybe this is just something the audience isn't supposed to know quite yet.
You being the audience.
I'm the playwright. I'm supposed to know everything that goes on
In this
my...
conversation, you're the audience. And it doesn't concern you. Now go about your business. We'll be right with you.
I feel kind of bad for this guy. Just being assholes to him. Kind of screw him over by blowing up his audience, and now... Yep.
They were Hermes.
Yep. I don't feel bad about them, just about the audience, or just about him.
We didn't blow him up yet.
No, not yet. Alright, so still whispering and keeping an eye on him. Do we... How should we go about this?
I have no idea. I'm still not quite clear about how we're in one person's memory or another's memory, and anything we do that's in their memory palace is in a place that they've created from their own memories, so we can't rely on its accuracy. And I don't see how, if we kill something that's in another person's memory, it affects them in real life. And I think that's kind of where we need to do, is go find these people in real life and eliminate them so that they can't go around killing people anymore.
They're dead.
Yeah.
Already in real life.
Yeah, in the real world, in real life, to where the actual Hermes people are. Because if we just kill them in the memory palace, they just go somewhere else, right?
No.
Nope.
If you're killed in your memory palace, you're fully dead. And
what if you're in somebody else's memory palace?
Then it's complicated. But
right.
But if you die inside of Francis's memory palace, for example, you would die on Earth. But after that, your Archon and your Diva would deploy your memory palace in the Great Book, and then if you were killed in there, you'd die permanently.
What happens if you kill somebody in the real world, though?
Then they go up. If they have their Archon, their Diva, and their Working Red and their memory palace, they go up to they also go up to the Great Book and create their memory palace there. That's where you are. You're right now in the memory palace of somebody, of Francis, who died on Earth and lived on thanks to his memory palace.
Okay, and so now he's in his own memory palace.
Yes.
So if he gets killed again in his own memory palace, then he's dead.
Yes.
What if he's in somebody else's memory palace and gets killed at this point?
He's dead because he doesn't have because he doesn't have a body.
I see. So whether it's the real world or a memory palace, we still have to kill people twice.
Yeah.
Unless they're already dead, then we have to kill them once more.
Well, they would have to die twice. If you kill them twice, it's a guarantee they're gone.
Yeah.
But
okay.
All of the Hermes, everybody who has their Archon, their Diva, and their Working Red dies when they reach the age of 99 years old. So most of the old ones are just already in their memory palaces and stuff. So yeah, right.
Wait a minute, they die when they're 99?
Yeah, and so
that's new.
I think I've relayed that information in the previously. But
It
it
hasn't been for a while.
Yeah. So it hasn't been mentioned for a while. That's so like age does play a factor in their first death, at least.
Oh, I have no recollection of that conversation with anyone.
All right.
Okay.
So Francis turns around and he says, "Listen, are you? If I know we have something going on here, but if they are going to probably come into my memory palace soon to investigate what was happening with the whole play. If they find you here, they're going. There's a good chance that my superiors and will be mad at you. I know you're warriors, but if they see us being on friendly terms, they might come back for me, and I, unlike you, cannot go anywhere else. And the higher ups, they're not. They haven't been very happy with my plays. The only reason some of them even come is because Orpheus shows up every now and then to watch what's happening.
Can you contact them?
No, because they're because they're masters of mine. They need to. They can come to my memory palace. I can't go into theirs. In fact, I'd love to know how you arrived here, because that might be a good way for me to get out of here as well.
Well, we're incredible, so that's how we can do it. But I'm just thinking, will you have any notice before they actually arrive, or will they just arrive and that's when you'll know they're here?
Well, unless I'm organizing a play here, which is rare these days, I will not have a notice. They will they'll come visit me and order me to make a play about this or this historical figure. And that's about it.
Well, do we want to have them come here to fight them? Not you.
We have time. We could just wait.
All right. So my suggestion is that we tie him up, make it look like we've captured him, so he's non-compliant, and he's our captive, and we're holding him as a hostage. So that gets you off the hook when they show up, and then when they show up, we can kill them all.
I'm gonna go tie myself up inside of one of my memories, so that so that there's less of a chance that I'm involved in the whole fighting thing.
Oh, that's a good idea. Put yourself in can you create a situation in here so that it looks like we came in here after you and you are hiding yourself somewhere that we can't get to you within your memory palace? That way you're not actually literally tied up, but it gives the same impression.
Well, this place is already a mess. Like, it's been searched for clues, so I guess this is good enough. Well, I'll leave you all to it then. And he starts to
just remember, please feel free to totally accuse us of everything, and do what you have to do to keep yourself safe.
Well, yes, it is your fault after all.
I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, don't worry about anything we might do if you start flinging all the blame upon us. Yeah. We're telling you we're good with that. That's what we want you to do. We want you to keep yourself safe.
So you see him going to a pile of papers, shifting through them, and he looks for a specific page, and then he starts to read it, and he disappears into it. It's his memories manifest here as in the form of plays, of scripts. So you're.
Do we know if it's possible to interact with one of these, like read it without entering the memory?
You from your experience with Allison, no. Every time that you opened the books that that had her memories in it, you were immediately transported in inside of them.
All right. Is there like a title on this book or manuscript, or?
I think it's it's going to be my memory of like it's going to be like the name of an adult institution in London in the from back in the day.
Mm. All right. Well, they're setting up an ambush. I'm going to look for the absolute oldest memory in this place.
Okay. Roll for search at. Do you take your roll for search at -3 unless you take some primes and penalties.
I'll take my time doing it.
Okay. All right. So just roll for search.
All right, 18.
Nice. So you, it's going to do it's going to take you a couple of hours, but you are going to find that the earliest dated memory of Sir Francis Bacon. But before that, I want to see how Philip and Chris are setting up their ambush.
All right. So, do we want like any physical obstacles, or should we just find ways to hide and get ready to grab them before they notice we're there?
Well, I was thinking something about like maybe being a theater, seeing if we could somehow hide up in the scaffolding above the stage, and then when they show up, we could leap down on ropes and swing down and engage them that way. I don't know if you want to fight them with firearms. Do you have a gun? Do you have a nice sniper rifle you can hang out up there and shoot people in the head with?
I have a handgun, but not a rifle.
You good with that gun?
I'm better with a sword, but actually, I'm equally good with a gun. I just looked. I forgot that I leveled up in that.
So you're better than you recall.
Yes.
Well, would you prefer doing the shooting, or would you prefer swinging pirate style out of the rafters with your sword?
I can start with shooting, and if that doesn't go well, I'll come down with my sword.
Sounds great. All right, so I'm going to then do that, but I'm also going to look for some areas down there that look like they would be good places to hide.
Okay. So are you trying to like go above stage or under stage? Because you said under there.
I'll inspect it all. I got time.
Okay, yeah.
I think right up until they show up.
So roll for tactics. Tactics is the skill to plan on the battlefield and find some advantageous spots.
All right, tactics. Yeah, there we go.
You don't find you're going to find just a place to hide in, but you don't find like all of the advantages of you don't know the specific details of the environment. And Philip, what is Philip doing?
I guess I start scoping out the scaffolding and the area on the top of the stage and seeing where the best places to perch would be.
Okay. Roll for tactics as well.
Let me find it.
Aries, middle column towards the top, I think.
Oh yeah, just right there in front of my face. I passed it 3 times. Great.
So that's why Chris is so good at it. Oh no, wait. Chris isn't good at it. I'm sorry.
No, he didn't put any points in it. He just has naturally the 6. So those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but both of you have the same score. It's just Phil got lucky. So you're going to you find the okay. So you find that you have a +3 to stealth to hide in the scaffolding, and it's also going to give you a +3 to your shooting skill while you're up there, to your firearms skill. You find that the disguises can give you bonuses to subterfuge, and that the whole smoke and mirrors things that are under the stage where Chris is could give bonuses to both stealth and subterfuge, and being on stage would give bonuses to leadership for intimidation and encouragement roles. If somebody needs to make a speech to empower everyone, and then you're also aware of the improvised weapons that are available here, which are going to be the ropes and some of the stage weapons that are actually sharp enough to be used. This game actually has no difference between the damage of a prop short sword and the damage of a giant claymore. So because of the mystical powers of swords in this setting. So yeah, you're aware of where the improvised weapons are. Yep. Okay. So yeah, you've got all of those bonuses available to you. So yeah, it takes you some time to scout the whole place to the point where Francis emerges from his memory backstage while Oliver you're finding his oldest memory, and he sees you picking it up and he says, "What are you doing? Going through my things like this?" He comes over to try and grab it from you. What do you do?
Keep it away from him while I look at the name.
Okay.
On it.
It's called Childhood Act 1.
How do we get out of a memory that we're in?
Out of the memory palace. What you've been doing,
not memory palace, actual memory in the palace.
I think we established the owner of that of said memory can pull you out, or you have to wait for the duration of the entire memory, or find. Oh yeah, no. There's also you can find the edges, the physical edges of that memory. If you go far away enough from the parameters of what is remembered, then you might just exit out of it. There's an entire scenario in a memory that's a prison, and if you escape it, you get out of the memory before its length is done.
All right. I'm going to open it and go into the memory. I'm going to open it and go into the memory.
All right. So yeah, the last thing you hear is a yell of protest from Francis, who both of you hear this coming from backstage, and yeah, you find yourself. All right, so give me just 1 second. All right. Yeah, you find yourself in what looks to be an old-fashioned mansion. You're inside of the York House in the Strand, and it's currently night. It's lit by the room that you're in is lit by a fire, and you're next to. And you're appearing at the very back of the room in the darkness, and what you're seeing is basically a woman who's just reading a tale to a couple of children. I just wanted to check one thing. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kids. 5 kids.
All right. I'm just going to leave, get as far from the memory as I can.
Okay. Before you have much time to disturb the memory, you're pulled out of it by Francis, who's just who tells you, what are you doing? These are the private moments from the deepest part of my mind. The heart sanctuaries, as I call them. How dare you invite them?
Oh, don't worry, I didn't disturb them. Go hide in a memory again.
Like he's holding it this time.
Yeah, you can keep it.
Oh, okay. All right. Philip and Chris, please roll for vigilance. Actually, also Oliver, you can also roll for vigilance. Okay, so Philip is not noticing this. Right, Chris, you have a visitor who's stepping into the memory palace. Yeah, you see a sort of shadow dressed in blue stepping into the theater. What do you do? Oh, and you notice that Philip is from where Philip is. He wouldn't have been able to see that shadow.
Okay, then I will hide, because if he couldn't see the shadow couldn't see him.
All right. Go ahead and roll for stealth.
I'll take the darkness.
Nice. So yeah, you hide yourself back under the stage. The intruder starts to make their way towards the back of the stage, and Francis emerges from back of the stage, calling for both of you, saying, "Your friend here is being extremely disrespectful. My memories are not a place to set an ambush in." And when he sees the shadow, he immediately kneels and says, "Lord Orpheus, I was not expecting your visit." So Oliver, you were behind him. You heard, and all three of you have heard him refer to the intruder as Orpheus. So what do you do? Roll for initiative.
I assume so.
All right. Yep. So then roll for initiative. Let's see who's the first to act. Okay, I think Philip is going to be the first to act. All right. So Philip, in fact, okay. So give me 1 second. If you divide this by 2, Okay, so you act the first time at 12 and then at 7. So you get to act twice this time. But yeah, you're in the rafters. You have actually a very good position to observe this this intruder. And you notice that they have a somewhat familiar, expressionless mask, and that their robes aren't just acting like normal robes. They seem to be moving as if they're underwater. And actually, no, you. Oh yeah. You yeah. I remember. You haven't actually seen this character. Okay, so what do you do? You have your weapon ready.
Yeah, I guess I take a shot.
Okay. Roll firearms. And I'm not going to defend because I'm not aware that there is a shot being taken at me.
All right, come on, good luck.
Okay.
Oh,
You hit you shoot the person. Oh, by the way, you know you can like take multiple actions in a single turn to get like penalties in exchange for penalties. So you could have shot multiple times.
I wanted to do just the one, just in case I missed.
Okay. Yeah, you the bullet goes straight for them. Like is going to hit them in the chest, and you see that the through the robes some weird silk and scales are going to come out of the robes and fall to the floor, and also words are also like ink forming words are spinning out from the wound, and it the mask.
I believe Orpheus is a lizard person.
The mask turns to you, and and you hear a voice that's coming from within it that says, "Why did you do that?" And Oliver, you recognize that voice. But it's Chris's turn first. Chris, what do you do?
How close is this Orpheus to me?
Since you're like under the stage, you're I think like if you like you're under a trapdoor basically. You're ready to you can spring out from under the stage. But this person is going to be like 6 meters away in total. You'd need to make an athleticism check to make it to them. So like you'd need to do multiple actions if you wanted to move there and then hit them.
Okay, so an athleticism to move, and then the attack, and then the second double attack because it's the attack, grapple, and incapacitate. That's what I want. So that's 3 actions total?
Yes, so you're at -6 for every single one of them.
-6?
Yes.
Okay.
Because every extra action after the first gives you a -3.
How hard do I think I'm going to need to get on my athleticism roll to get there?
It's you just need 12. It's not a difficult check.
It's too much of a risk, so I'm going to wait until they're within my non-athleticism roll distance from me.
Okay. Since they're currently on the stage, you're waiting for them to come down beneath the stage.
Yeah, I'm going to wait for them to get within the distance where it's not an athleticism roll to get to them.
All right, which means 7.5. Oliver, you get to act at the same time as Philip. Oliver, you recognize this person, and you don't remember this person being Orpheus. You remember her voice from your dreams, and also coming from the machine you built. Just trying to find where I put this character. It looks exactly like Web Melchior, the Pisces.
Does it look like
You mean it sounds like?
The digital version, or do I think this might actually be the real version?
You don't know. In your dream, when you dreamt of her when she was communicating with you, it was that's what she looked like.
All right, I'll step onto the stage and say, Malakir?
How do you know my name?
We've met before.
Have we? When was that?
You asked us to rescue you.
Did I? You remember that the one you were in communication with also only talked in questions. Philip, it's also your initiative. Do you attack again?
I see Oliver approach this person, and I pause. I still have my gun aimed, but my finger is off the trigger.
Okay. Francis is saying, "This, are you saying this is not Orpheus? This person has been showing up in all of our memory palaces to the point where we knew that he was the only person who could." It had to be Orpheus because only the person at the top of the pyramid only the first Hermes would be able to enter the memory palaces of everybody else, right?
I'll turn back and say, are you the person that's called Orpheus?
I'm trying to find a way to answer this question with another question. She says, interpreting this character is really difficult. She's going to say, she's going to pause for a while. She just unlike Web Milk here, she has like very long pauses, and she's going to say, "Don't you know my name? I thought you were calling me Pisces." So yeah, what do your characters do?
Oliver needs to think for a second because this answering in questions is really confusing.
Are we in free time now?
Yep, you're not in combat time anymore.
Okay, I'll open the hatch and say, if you were going to answer truthfully and that answer were Pisces, then what question should we ask you?
Don't you think you should think about the difficulty of the questions before you answer them? Before you ask them, if you want a quick answer?
I don't know. Do you?
I do.
Ah, that wasn't a question.
Yeah,
you just lost.
In the meantime, Francis is just like looking at the whole interaction, being very, very confused. But you see him he retreats backstage and comes back with what are they called? Pieces of an with just like a dress from the props, and he's tearing pieces off of it and saying, "I'm terribly sorry about this. If you are one of the gods, let me. I apologize for you getting wounded in my theater. Here, let me tend to that wound." And like he starts to like put bandages around the gunshot wound, Melchior, she says, "What is it you're looking for?" Sorry. What circumstances did I meet you in, supposedly?
Really, you just going to go back to the questions after we beat you at your game?
Don't you know? The truth is hard to discern. Only through questions can we discern its shape.
Not a question.
Don't you know that?
Yeah, that would technically be a question.
Well, at some point, a question needs to be answered, and if you're answering questions with questions, not only is it considered rude by all social conventions that I'm aware of, but we never reach a point where we're actually answering the questions. We're just compiling a bunch of questions that would then need to be answered.
And like Francis says, if she's a goddess, I'm not sure social conventions apply to her.
If she's a goddess, then anything that goes down here is going to happen exactly the way she wants it to happen.
Is it?
I don't know, is it? You tell me. She's certainly not going to tell me. Or is she?
Am I?
Are you what?
The answer is no.
Have you ever played Jeopardy? You know, the game where all answers must be offered in the form of a question. You'd be smashing at it.
You think so?
And so do you.
Once again, what are you looking for? No, sorry, she hadn't asked that previously. Yeah. She turns to Francis, and she says, "No, she's just going to ask what, like again, what circumstances am I supposed to have met you in?" Whichever player actually remembers that game.
I mean, I wasn't actually there for that game, so...
That was the one that he wasn't there at, yeah.
Yeah.
But he was there. His character was there.
Yeah.
Yep.
You were you were trapped as part of a computer, and we got part of you out of the computer, and is that the right one, Philip? And then we...
Sounds right, yeah, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, and then Max built you, put you in a robot that he had made so that you could actually act, and then that loser, what was his name?
Crimson.
Tattoo Face? Crimson, yeah. He he decided for some insane reason that he was going to try to destroy you because he doesn't like the gods and wants to kill them all, like the rest of his clown group. So he yanked out your processor that had the part of you that we recovered programmed onto it and tried to run. That didn't go so well for him. And then we captured him. And then I think it was Philip and Oliver did some kind of computer-related mumbo jumbo. I don't know how that went. I was in the other room learning about my avatars and my divas and archons and all that. But yeah, I think that's where we met you.
And why was it that this person wanted me dead?
Oh, he's a maniac. He wanted to kill all the gods. He's part of some group that wants to kill all the gods and then become gods themselves. And we were like, no, that's nonsense. You're not going to do that.
Doesn't that sound like it would destabilize the order of things?
Well, we kind of thought that way too, and that was the part of the reason why we got rid of him that time. And then when he came back and again tried to mess with us, I sent him on his way permanently.
Can I do an empathy check on Malakir to see if she's, I guess, on that last one about when Chris said basically that someone wanted to kill her and replace her. See if how she felt about that, basically.
Okay. Roll for empathy at -6 because not only she has a mask on, but she's also extremely hard to read in general.
Is there a prime and a penalty I can take for this?
Let me have a look at the primes and penalties, and I will tell you. You could take slow, and then you'd be out of the conversation for a little bit. You could take... you could take difficulty.
If you want, I or Philip and I can carry the conversation while you study her.
Yeah, I'll take slow on efficacy.
All right. So just minus
3.
Okay. No, you're not getting a read on her based on this. So like in just like 2 minutes you'll be like back in the conversation. So Melkir turns to Francis and says, "What happened in the verse that you came out of?" And Francis turns to you and says, "They happened." Melkir turns and says, "What happened in the verse that he came out of?" Don't you know that destabilizing history like this is bound to disrupt the entire cosmos?
I kind of get the impression that the cosmos is in a bit of flux already. So, yeah, but still, I have a big problem with people who want to try to kill me. I'm sure you can understand. So, a bunch of those people were the people who have been chasing us around and trying to kill us at every opportunity. And so I kind of have this rule where I'm willing to, live in peace and harmony with people when they're not trying to kill me. So when they move from being people who are not trying to kill me to being people who are trying to kill me, I do everything within my power to prevent them from ever being able to kill me.
And who are
sometimes
these people?
Oh, they were a bunch of Hermes.
Mm-hmm. And which group do you belong to?
Well, I'm really starting to wonder that myself. I'm really kind of just curious about what's the point in being part of any of these groups, since everyone's kind of opposing each other and everyone's running around killing each other over their ideals. And that sounds to me an awful lot like what the problem is with the religions in the world, which is why I never really subscribed to any of them. And now I find out that there's this other whole underlying magical theme going on with a whole bunch of groups, and that all of those groups aren't willing to work together, that they're all running around trying to undermine each other and killing each other. So I'm really beginning to question whether I truly feel like I do belong to any group at all. Although as of late it was Neo Hermes. I don't know if it was Neo Hermes posing as Hermes or Hermes posing as Neo Hermes, or Neo Hermes be pretending I was a Hermes pretending I was a Neo Hermes. I don't know. It all gets very complicated, and I don't know.
Don't you think that you might be opposing the Hermes for the wrong reasons? After all, they are seekers of knowledge, trying to stabilize the cosmos through balance, aren't they?
No, they're not. Or maybe they are. I don't know. Here's what I do know. They've been trying to kill me ever since I first found out about this whole, reality behind the veil kind of thing going on. They've been trying to kill me, constantly trying to kill me at every turn. It's either them or it's whatever those 8 guys were, or those Nazi jerks, or one group or another. So I just am really tired of people who want to try to kill me. So I it's kind of my rule, is like the moment that I find out that you or the group that you belong to, wants to kill me, then I'm done trying to be nice and live together. I would love to be able to live together. I'd love to be able to get along and just exchange knowledge and learn and benefit from the wisdom that we could all share with each other. But unfortunately, I seem to be in an incredibly minute minority of these people, where the rest of them are all power-hungry monsters who want to destroy everybody else and become gods, and and I'm not even I'm not sure if I'm very happy about this whole Diva Archon. One or the other gets to take over my body and I die because some reason, because I have one, so I don't get to live anymore. Not really happy about that either. So if that's something that you have control over, we can talk about that when we're done talking about whatever we're talking about now.
I think we're done talking. You have strengthened my opinion that those who don't seek to acquire knowledge are and end up having very chaotic thoughts and strange outbursts of emotion. I'll be taking my leave now. And she just vanishes. The bandages that had her strange blood on it do remain and fall to the floor, and they're still soaked in this strange substance.
Oliver will pick one up, kind of look at it.
It's roll for clairvoyance, please.
And I don't know if it's been said, but I think I start to climb down from the rafters.
Okay. Oliver, do you remember what happens during the sunrise and the sunset when you try to use clairvoyance?
No.
You get massive headaches because the sunrise and the sunset are when there are waves of karma overtaking the world and recharging your karma. So you can't use clairvoyance during those times, because then you like your senses are completely overwhelmed. The exact same thing is happening right now. You take 2 points of damage from the sheer amount of power that you're holding in your hands, and that you're just like touching it, you feel all of those words trying to force their way into your mind from all of those different languages and books and writings and things. So yeah.
How much time has passed since our last?
A couple of hours.
Okay, so we would have healed any bruised we have?
You would have healed 2 bruised if you didn't have anything else.
Okay.
Oh, I have some bruised damage still from last session. What did I have bruised from?
Probably a trap.
Yeah, the traps were pretty awful.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I have 6 bruised.
Okay. So yeah.
How long ago was the trap?
2 hours ago. So you healed 2 bruised since.
Okay.
All right. So you now have the blood of a god. What do you do?
Hey, wasn't that one of those requirements for the potion?
Yeah.
Well, that's convenient.
See, it turns out that shooting first and asking questions later does work and does have its advantages sometimes.
I just want to go on record as saying this is a trap. I don't know how, but I know it's a trap.
I'm gonna say that.
Yes, it's a trap. The game master has been trying to get you to set up a trap for the bad guys with this as bait for a. It's a trap. You just haven't realized you're supposed to be the ones in charge of it.
I'm going to say that. Malkier is probably definitely Orpheus. And we should find out where they hang out.
You know that anybody who comes in and out of what are they called? Verses and memory palaces can be detected by the telescope that you used to get here that's been recording this entire time. So once you get back to Earth, all you really need to do is look at the trails of people coming in and out of here.
Perfect.
All right.
Who was the person that we ran into in that labyrinth behind that secret door?
Tabitha Blewett, Hermes who sold you some information on the way the memory palaces works in exchange for being told how to build the telescope that in exchange for the explanation that the way you went to other people's memory palaces was through the telescope that you used on Earth that she could then copy because she was in that memory because she had visited that verse.
But what was their name?
Tabitha Blewett.
What? Weren't they interested? They were interested in being able to travel to other memory palaces,
yes,
right?
That's correct.
Okay. I thought that the name Orpheus was dropped at some point during our conversation with that person.
It was. She basically was explaining how the Orpheus was the first Hermes. She could access the memory palaces of all of his students and all of their students and so on and so forth. So he is basically at the top of the pyramidal shape that the organization takes. But she also explained that there had been like a sort of like civil war with the Hermes that had like killed a lot of masters in a single generation and basically disconnected the top of the pyramid from the rest for a while. But there were still there were rumors that some people still had connections with the top of the pyramid through their memory palaces, and that's how Orpheus had been giving orders to people like Crimson. So, what do you do now?
I guess Oliver's going to suggest we go back to the real world and track where Orpheus went.
All right. So Francis says, all right, well, how do you go back to the real world?
You can't, you're dead.
Yes, I know there's no clone of me back on Earth, so I can't re-enter her body, but how do you do that?
By not being dead.
All right, well, have a good day.
It's like the secret ingredient.
We don't need him to take us. We just need to find a way or another memory palace. No, do we need him to take us to another memory palace?
You need to enter the memory of any students that he might have had, and hope that he has like students that go the line of students that are still alive. Otherwise, the front door might do it. Like leaving the boundaries of the memory palace itself.
I mean, that's probably the easiest.
All right, yeah. So,
try that. Unless people disagree.
I'm actually just trying to figure this out now. So if Orpheus and Melkor are one and the same, and Melkor is actually Pisces, so do we believe that those three are actually the same person? Because maybe Melchior has been Orpheus all along, and maybe if there really truly was this separation so that the top didn't know what the bottom was doing, maybe the bottom was able, if the top didn't quite know what was really going on, they were just issuing orders, then maybe the top doesn't know that the bottom is up to all of that killing and wanting to destroy the gods. Because I'm just wondering, she left, and I mean, I guess she could have left because she didn't like what I was saying, or she could have left because what I was saying caused her to want to investigate to find out if there was any amount of truth in what I was saying. But we don't have a way to contact her anymore, do we? Or do you still have that ship that we could maybe use to contact her?
Oh, the verse, her ship.
I think that was Philip or Stefan, wasn't it?
No, the Allison had the verse, her ship, but it only works on people who sleep.
I don't think she sleeps.
No. I mean the part that the physical computer
robot
component that you used to make the robot that we managed to stop Crimson from taking. We should still have that, right?
You basically, I think, set Melchior free on the internet by uploading the files that contain her essence back onto the internet, and she's been like free and soaring the web ever since. But you do have a way of contacting Web Melchior, basically, like by typing her name in a search engine. You were told you could contact her if you needed to.
I guess that might be a good start.
All right. So you go back to the physical world?
Yeah, that's what I vote for.
Okay. You exit the theater and find yourselves in your body in the Hawaii Observatory again. Oliver, you do not have the bandages you were holding in your hands anymore.
I definitely was not holding them after I took 2 damage.
Yeah, okay. So you left these in Francis Bacon's memory palace. So you once you look at the records, it shows no, like basically like there's no signs that anything that had an Archon and a Diva carrying them entering or leaving the Francis's memory palace. The telescope didn't record anything apart from you going there and you coming back 2 hours to like a few hours later. You also heal the rest of your bruised. Well, yeah.
Presumably, Pisces wouldn't have an Archon or a Diva, right?
Yep.
So, and if you don't have an Archon and a Diva, and you're not a god, is anyone known to be able to travel in and out of memory palaces that doesn't have an Archon or a Diva or is a god?
Nope.
So either that was indeed Pisces or something we don't know anything about.
That's right. So, what do you do?
I feel like I've reached 1% of understanding how this whole thing's going now.
Also, I'm going to pause for just a quick second and switch to my phone from my laptop because my laptop's being a little janky.
Okay. So, what's your next step? What do you do?
So, if that is indeed Pisces, that shouldn't be possible because, as far as I know, the gods are not supposed to.
They're not supposed
to intervene with anything.
Then they're you know that the rules are they're not supposed to physically come to Earth. They're stopped by the fire swords from ever coming to Earth.
But they could potentially manipulate history to be in their own favor by going to memories.
That's the fire swords aren't stopping them from going to other dimensions, as far as you know.
You know, I'm starting to agree with Chris that we should just kill all of them.
It also happens that you're agreeing with the bad guy of this story at the same time.
There we go.
How do you figure we're agreeing with the bad guys?
Not kill them and make new gods, just kill them and be done with them.
That's also an option.
Yeah.
These people are idiots.
I mean, like when I described the lore, and I was like, okay, so first the paradise was destroyed because of the bets that the Gemini did, and then Ares created war trying to kill the Trinities, and then and before that Virgo blocked the gods from intervening in the world again. Yeah, each of their decision that is in the lore is mostly making things worse for the entire planet.
I think whoever invented this game and this whole mythos thing must have had access to some very serious medical grade drugs.
Like, what I know is that the team who came up with this game is a bunch of white dudes, because there's a lot of like problems with the way they wrote their scenarios and wrote the lore to like retroactively make, you know, Cortez a good guy, and there's lots of problems with this game. But anyways, yeah, what do you do now?
I guess we can try contacting Webb, Mela here.
Okay.
Melchior.
So
yeah, I like that idea.
You reach a computer, type her name, like you arrive on a sort of like weird web page whose address keeps shifting, and you have basically a hello, how can I help you today? A question with like a bar in which you can type questions. What do you do?
How? Actually, I'm gonna let Chris do this because Chris managed to make sense of Malakir.
Okay, so real quick, do we know the extent of the relationship between this web Melchior and the actual Melchior who is Pisces?
You do not. You don't know how connected they are at all.
I mean, is the web Melchior like? Was it some sort of a fragment of Pisces? Was that what it said it was? I thought that's what it said it was.
I think that was the working theory you were going with.
Okay. How about if we ask it? We think we just met the rest of you.
The rest of me? Question mark.
Just not your brethren, but the whole of what you were before you became this fragment of you.
That's not a question. Hello, how can I help you today?
Oh, God.
This is going to be tricky.
Is it possible that we just met the whole of you from which you are a fragment of?
Yes.
Was that yes as in
Do
a
you
question?
possess
Yes. Was that yes as in a question? Yes.
There was no question mark. It was just a yes.
Oh, so this answers questions. The other one poses, and this one answers them.
Yeah, basically, this counts as an NPC that has, I think, 24 in documentation, and you can and like once you've found out about WebMailCare and you know how to access it on the internet, you can basically have her roll with 24 skill in documentation and based on like what is accessible on the internet at that point in time. But it's still the year 2000, so it's not the most.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just mostly everything, not everything.
Yeah.
So do you possess the ability to communicate with them and ask them to contact us?
No. They. She might, though.
She might be able to contact us, just you don't have a way to let her know we want to.
Correct.
Do you have any knowledge of how we might contact any of the other Zodiacs?
Okay, so let me think. Yes. Recommend most likely option to cause them to return to the world is the end of times. Do you want me to initiate a thermonuclear war?
We'll call that the D plan.
All right.
Let's call that plan 16Z.
Right.
Is there a more temporary and less destructive option for contacting any of them?
Okay, so available on the internet. She doesn't know about the other dimensions. She doesn't know about the horn. There's no way she could know about the flowers. She wouldn't know about the potions. Hold on, I'm trying to go through all of them. Yes, find Excalibur.
Where is Excalibur?
I don't know.
Please list in order of most likely the likely locations Excalibur may be at this time.
You get basically a map of all of the lakes in England.
Which ones can we eliminate as being either unlikely or most likely? Can we grade them into 3 categories? Most likely, maybes, and least likelies.
Yeah. Okay. So you start like asking questions and trying to do research on this, and you find that like it's a needle in a haystack situation right now.
Do you know of any other contact that we could reach, and how to reach that contact, who might be able to either narrow it down or give us the actual location of Excalibur?
I would have loved if you had if I had known you'd have asked this question, it would have been great, because I could have finally done a crossover with Jeremy's game and called their players in, because since they are reincarnated Knights of the Round Table, they are the most likely people to do that, to be contacted for that. But
call them. I'll wait.
Unfortunately, it's that's not the best path to ending this campaign today. So I think Web Melchior is not going to know that they are Knights of the Round Table. I'm trying to think. Yeah, Web Melchior basically says that she doesn't know, like, apart from causing the end of the world, she doesn't have a surefire way to contact the gods, and that like the if you have any way of finding another dimension, they could potentially go there and meet them there, but that wouldn't be a way to contact them. That would be a way for them to contact you, basically.
Right. More to sort of put out a distress beacon, and if they answer, they answer. If they don't, they don't.
Yeah.
Rather.
Destroy something that is extremely important to one of them could trigger their arrival on Earth.
Yeah, well. Not exactly the kind of beginning to a dialogue I wanted to use. So, essentially, as nothing more than a possible route to go, should we find ourselves going for another season, I would just like it to print out for us the most likely options. So this way, you got also plenty of time to think about what you don't have to tell us what comes out. We can, if we do a second season of this, you know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And including how would you go about doing this if you were to try and contact any of them without destroying the world? No, Web Melchior. So that's the question, and we can look at that if there's a second season.
Yeah. Because if she searches long enough, there's a way she could find, like, she could help you find pieces of gods. But those are things that could be found through the internet knowledge, but not directly a way to contact them, unfortunately. So yeah, what's the next line of questioning?
This Orpheus, where might that Orpheus be found? If they have found a way to come and enter those memory palaces, then where would that require them to come to a place closer than wherever the rest of the Zodiac are now? Or could they actually come from wherever it is that they exist all the way here to a memory palace? Or does it seem reasonable that they would be staying someplace closer?
I'm going to tap you on the shoulder and say, didn't you get some information about potential way to contact Ares?
No. that information from Michael Weiss still hasn't come back. I considered trying to put that in today's scenario. I didn't find a way to work it into today's story at all.
I figure that's probably also a season 2 thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, your webmail carrier is going to list the information available from Hermes servers. Orpheus is thought to be or to have been human. Orpheus. Since Orpheus is thought to exist in the Memory Palace, he exists outside of the spheres in which the gods reside, and much closer than the spheres, in somewhere in the Great Book. So yeah, what do you do?
Should we ask it about Tabitha Blewett?
Sure, it can't hurt, right?
She is not gonna have, like, she's gonna have like some records of her past life, of her life, but like very little information overall. Just like name, old address, dates of life and death, and no marriage and stuff like that.
Just general common knowledge,
yeah,
rather than specifics. Okay.
Yeah. So the question now is, how are you going to get to Orpheus within the 2 hours we have left to play? Or get Orpheus to come to you within the 2 hours you have left to play.
I mean, I don't feel incredibly bad about destroying some of her stuff. Philip, if you have any suggestions, I think we'd love to hear them, because I think Chris and I are maybe a little bit stumped.
I mean, big same right now. This is a tricky thing.
Okay? What? Let's do a quick thing. What do you know? What do you know for sure about Orpheus?
Well, I'm nearly
annoying.
100. Yes, 100% sure she is Malakir or Pisces.
I think she's Pisces.
Pretty sure, yeah.
I just wonder if she would like to be reunited with this part of her that's in the web, in the internet.
It might be.
And I wonder if this part that's in the internet would like to be reunited with her. Would you?
So yeah, if you type that, the answer is going to be maybe. Depends on what the other part of me is like.
Oh, you'll love her. She's nothing but questions.
Interesting.
Yeah, nothing but questions. Just only questions.
Can't even answer anything. Always responds with a question.
So apart from what you've stated, what do you know about Melkir? About Orpheus, sorry.
They've been going to people's memory palaces for plays. They disliked Chris's emotional outburst about stuff.
Was that an emotional outburst?
She thought it was. I think. Whether it actually was.
But like I said, I'm very curious to know whether she left because she opposed what I was saying, or did she leave because she didn't know or didn't know whether what I was saying was in fact correct or not, and wanted to find out in case it was correct, because it seemed like, she was like, isn't it possible that you're, like her actions indicated she was not aligned with what we know about the way the Hermes are. Like there seemed to be a conflict to me in between what I've been led to believe about the Hermes and what I've seen them do so far, and the way she was behaving, like as if that separation might be true, and she's still giving them instructions, but like many times, the boss may actually be detached from the reality of what the employees are doing. Like the boss is just telling them to do stuff, and then things they are telling them to do are getting done, so they're not paying attention to what else is going on. So it could be that when they get orders, they're following the orders, but they're extrapolating other things and or doing other things that she's not becoming aware of, that she might not be happy if she knew. So maybe she's looking to inquire into that stuff. So I don't know.
The computer next to you beeps.
Yes?
It's detected signals of Archons and Divas headed for that are headed for Francis Bacon's memory palace.
Uh-oh. Shall we?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Suppose we shall.
Right.
Maybe we'll get you a better gun than that handgun, Phil. What do you think? Uzi 9mm.
If it's
Phase
Now
phase plasma rifle in a 40-watt range.
Do you go to the armory to get some nicer weapons? Because there are some really good weapons in this game. An assault rifle does 7 points of damage. So like they're very efficient against humans who don't take double damage from swords. A shotgun is 5 damage. A rifle is 6. Grenade is 8. And the game master who introduced me to this game established that snipers did 9 damage because he wanted to snipers with the heavy damage penalty to be able to kill people. So I agree with that ruling.
I mean, that's not shabby.
Not at all.
All right. So you head to the armory. You start. What are you going to take with you, Philip?
I mean, we're literally going up against the final boss. So I think I'll take the most powerful thing there.
Okay. If you take the the repeating military rifle, you can get the prime for multiple attacks for free, which means you'd be able to attack multiple. You'd be able to do the prime multiple attacks. I think it's.
I'm already strapping that over your shoulder.
Okay. Just looking at the primes and penalties, because this is not one that was in that I remember, and I just want to have a look at what exactly I'm giving you. Here we are. Multiple attacks. The attack hurts multiple targets at once. The character during when you're attacking, the number of targets is limited to the number of munitions in the weapon. During okay, so the weapon does 50% of the damage, but in exchange, you can hit as many people as are. You can hit up to 40 people in a turn.
Damn.
And throwing grenades is going to be a firearm check as well?
Yes.
I'm putting a bandolier of grenades over Philip's other shoulder. Here, you'll need these too.
Oh my god.
All right. Okay, so by the time you come back to the observation room, the signals seem to have left Francis Bacon's memory palace, and they seem to be traveling in like basically they were all coming from the same galaxy, and now out of that galaxy they are leaving into different directions. Some of them are, at least. So what do you do?
Pick one that's got 2 or 3 going to the same place, or is everyone going to a different place?
Some of them are heading in the same direction. So do you wait until they do you wait until they keep going to until there's only 2 or 3 of them going in the same direction, or do you just do you like wait to see where they're scattering to have those different locations, or not?
Well, we don't have any way to go where they are until, if they're going somewhere, until they get there, right?
Yes, because you can't tell where exactly it is they are going.
So we have really no choice but to wait till they get where they're going, right?
Yep, that is correct.
All right. So we'll wait until we see a spot where maybe 2 or 3 of them have dropped. If there's a place where like 2 or 3 have actually, gone to the same place.
All right.
So does that sound good? And then we'll pop there.
I am going to need one of you to roll science astrology, or
not it.
Philip, I believe you put some. Wait, did one of you put points in? Do any of you have the domain astrology or astronomy?
Checking that right now.
I have university.
I know I have a domain in alchemy, but I don't know if I have any points in astrology. I'm trying to pull it up.
Astrology is under Aquarius. Never mind. Yeah, we're going to say somebody takes care of those calculations. Okay, so you basically you find that there is a group that is going back upwards through memory palaces together, and that they're dropping members as they go until there's only like one signal moving upwards, and then it stops. And it stops in a specific galaxy, and after a couple of seconds, another signal travels to that galaxy and then back to where it came from. So
if we go, what's the deal now? If we go there, we can't just come back when we want to.
No, like I like the way that that memory palaces works is really weirdly explained, so I'm trying to have to work with that at all times. But I think if you just exit the memory palace or destroy it, you come back to your bodies. Basically, what happened was that there were 10 people moving through those stars that I'm representing here towards the tentacles, and then like less people traveling to each of those points, and until there was only one signal that stopped at this star, and then coming from another not star, but like coming from another galaxy, one person came in and then went back to their place. So which one do you go to?
We need to have a way that we can just jump along the paths from Memory Palace to Memory Palace.
The paths are space, basically.
Yeah, so we need a way to just go from Memory Palace to Memory Palace. We need like a portable telescope that we can go to a Memory Palace, and from that Memory Palace look at another Memory Palace and then go there.
That could, since you can bring equipment with you to the Memory Palaces, that is actually one of the greatest ideas that's ever come out of this game so far. But it might take some time to build that.
Can we get somebody on that right away?
I think
you're at the university.
Steph is going to be working on that for the next couple of months.
There you go. Try to get that ready by next season.
Yeah. So based on this map, based on like this weird star map that I've made right here, where do you go?
I want to see what happened right over here.
Okay.
Because I'm beginning to wonder, okay, if they drop that person off here, then this guy or this person went here, and then this person went here to catch up to them, and then they came back?
Okay, so, real quick. When this person did their last trip here, after a few minutes, someone else came to their Memory Palace, and then left.
Where did they go to?
They went back to where they were coming from.
And that would be a person who wasn't with the original group that went to Francis Bacon's Memory Palace?
That is accurate.
Let's go see who that is.
Okay.
I know that's maybe like flipping to the end of the book before you read it, but...
Hey, if we take off the head, the body is much easier to hack up.
Unless it's a Hydra.
This galaxy right here is a famous galaxy to a lot of astronomers. Anyways, it's called IC 1101, and it is the largest galaxy in the known universe.
Seems important. We should break it.
Yeah, let's go break that one.
Okay. You enter you type in the coordinates, the telescope aligns, and you're once again projected out of your body at incredible speeds through space and stretch thin until you slam into this galaxy, and it materializes around you as this gigantic this gigantic like white marble Greek temple with a lot of different statues in front of it, and it is sitting in this sort of like black pool that is reflecting the night sky above it, and Earth sitting in the middle of the night sky, and all around you there are hundreds, thousands of floating paintings of what look to be like books, objects. All of them look like memories, but not necessarily. But you know that until now, every memory palace you've been in has had a consistent way of representing memories. But here they all look very slightly different, and you are standing knee-deep in this pool of black reflecting water. And there's nobody else around that you can see.
I'd like to rise up so I'm standing on the water.
There are steps coming up from the into the temple. So if you want to be above the water level, you need to walk those steps. Otherwise, you'll have to learn a verse that allows you to levitate above water. Which
I'm in essentially a not physical but a mental existence. Yeah. And so through the strength of my mind, I'm going to simply rise to the top of the water.
Roll for willpower at -12, but if you succeed, you'll be doing it.
Fair enough.
So we could get our first -11.
Ooh. Yeah, you sing back a couple of. You concentrate, but you're not rising above the water.
I'm gonna have to work on that as I walk forward.
All right. Okay, so you're walking into the large white marble temple.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you.
But I'm also going to try to actively see if I can detect the sounds or indications of person or persons that may or may not inhabit this place and be here now. Like signs of somebody who does inhabit it, as well as signs of somebody actually here at this time.
Roll for search, and you have a +3. Oh, yeah. You hear two voices talking to one another. One of them is sounds very anxious and is saying, "No, it's too dangerous. We need to find the proper test subjects to test this on." And the other one saying, "No, we have all of the ingredients. We have to convince him to just go with it." And you arrive and you're basically in the main section of the temple that is like open. There's like columns to the side. You see an Archon and a Diva talking to one another, and they look like this. And there is a staircase leading down into the bowels of the temple. From which you see smoke rising, alchemical smoke. Someone is brewing something in there.
And do either of them appear to be wounded?
No, both of them appear quite healthy.
And you said we recovered all of our bruised?
Yes. I think since you. All of you, how are you doing in terms of karma? How many points of light and darkness karma do you have? Philip, do you want to?
When we started the session, I had no points of light karma and only 1 point of dark.
Okay. And Oliver?
1 and 1.
Okay. And Chris?
I had done my light verse in the trap area, remember? That's the only karma I'd spent.
Okay. So, I hope you're... Okay, yeah.
I think that cost me 2, right? Because auras cost me 1.
Yes, auras cost you 1. So, you... Yeah, so like we agreed, your characters didn't like wait until there was a sunrise and the sunset to regenerate these. So you're not in the best shape, but that's are any of you trying to be stealthy coming into this temple?
Yeah, as soon as I hear that, I point to my ears and indicate talking with my mouth and point in case they don't know or see it. But I'm trying to be stealthy as I approach.
All right. Roll for stealth, all of you. Right. Your group is getting spotted, unfortunately. The diva, like, because it's a really like open place. Like the place is very large. Imagine like a very wide church. As you're stepping into it, like at some point, the diva turns around frustrated, and saying that they're really. It is really concerning that we do something like this with no regards to our safety after being so prudent for so many years, and like he sees you, and he like taps the shoulder of the Archon, who turns around and who says,
I put my finger up like shh.
The Archon immediately yells, "Orpheus, we have intruders! Drink the potion as soon as you have the chance!" And both of them draw their weapons. They have
I head downstairs.
Yeah, I was about to say, Chris, run downstairs, beat up Orpheus. We'll deal with these two.
These two, they were basically heading. They were basically like at the staircase. So let's roll for initiative. Everybody roll for reflexes. And I'm going to have both of them act on the same turn. Okay, so that is 29. So I'm going to act at 12 and... Hold on 1 second. Okay.
Sorry, trying to get to it on my phone screen. 10 out of 10.
Okay. Do you have your initiative icons on the turn order thing or not?
Nope.
Okay. Let me add you then.
I think I rolled before you had that up. I thought you had the turn order up.
Here you go. All of you are added. So don't forget to divide it by 3. I'm going to act at 12 and then 2.5.
I thought it was by 2. Wasn't it by 2?
Yeah, you divide it by 2.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, 2.5, 9, and Theo, you're at 9.5. Okay.
Nice.
All right. So let's order them descending. So they are actually going to act first here, and yeah, they're going to be acting first, and then you because they rolled a 29, so they act at 12 and then at 2.5. So each of them is going to stand their ground, but cast one verse. So one of them is going to say, he liked to break his adversaries and reduce them to nothing, for each victory brought him a sense of power. And you... nothing physical happens. That's the Archon wasn't pointing at anyone. He just yells this, and the diva is actually going to. No, the diva is going to point to you, Philip, because right now you look like the most threatening. And the diva says, separated from Leah, the Chevalier lost half of his soul. Philip, which person alive is, which person still existing is dearest to you? Out of everybody that exists.
Probably Stefan.
Stefan, since Stefan is not present here, all of your skills under Sagittarius are halved, rounded up. Basically, he, like the diva saw, this person has all of the weapons. Let's destroy your ability to use them. So, yeah. So currently how much do you have in firearms?
Oh God, like, hold on, I just had it.
First column.
Yeah, my phone's just.
Oh yeah.
Now my phone's being
I'll
dumb.
have a look.
I know I had 10 on the base, so I think 12 total.
12. So right now your skill is now back down to 6, and that's it for their first turn. It's now your turn, Philip.
Now you have the same skill in firearms as Oliver does. How does that feel?
I guess I just go screw it and I pull out my sword.
Okay. That is the other option. Okay. I think pulling out your sword is technically an action. And then what do you do? Do you charge?
Yeah.
Okay. And do you attack?
I mean, should I? I'm assuming we want to attack these people.
If you do attack, you do so at a -6 because you drew your sword and charged. So
I'm pretty confident about it. Like, I'm not worried about the roll for using my sword, but I just want to make sure with the others real quick. Like, am I on the right path, or am I like screwing up a plan?
No plan. Not that Oliver had.
Just like normal then.
But...
I don't think you have to ask me what my plans are.
All right, cool. I will do that at -6.
Yep, you hit one. Which one did you aim to hit?
The one who cast the verse on us.
The one who cast the verse on you, specifically.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, I believe, yeah. So you do 4 points of damage. So that is going to be okay. So you strike down the diva that yells in pain as the sword like passes through his body. Yep, and it's still alive. Okay, Chris, it's your turn. What do you do?
Okay, the other one, I'm going to charge him and grapple him.
The Archon?
Yeah.
Okay. So charging gives you a -3, and then you just try to just grapple him this turn, or do you want to grapple and overpower?
Well, if I do that, that's going to be 3 actions, which means they're all going to be both going to be a -6. The last 2.
Correct.
Well, yeah. -6. That's terrible. No, I'm just going to do the initial grapple.
Okay. So you're doing the grapple at -3.
Yeah.
Okay. Ooh. Yep. You grapple the Archon successfully. Oliver, it's your turn. What do you do?
I'm going to draw my sword, run up, and stab the grappled Archon.
So you're doing so at -6, and
do I get anything from the Archon being grappled?
Yes. I don't roll dodge, so all you need to do is pass 12.
All right. Well, let's see if I get a 12. Oh wow, I got a 12.
You do. You stab him. You stab him good. So that brings me down to 7. All right. So they're fighting, like their life points are also their energy reserve. So that is like not the best. Okay. So now you're all within reach. Perfect. So Oh yeah, the Archon is actually, just give me 1 second. No, I need to find this verse again real quick. Okay, just give me 1 second. I forgot about that verse, so I just need to look it up real quick. No. Yes. Okay. So the Archon says she stole from the shepherd's provisions, which nourished her, and the diva is then going to say, finally, Amaterasu, the goddess of the sun, appeared in his left eye. From then on, there would be the day and there would be the night. Amaterasu bedazzled Izanagi, who asked her to go shine in the middle of the sky. The diva starts to shine briefly and fire emerges all around him, burning all of you. Everyone who is inside of the field of vision gets the difficulty penalty -3 to your actions on your first action next turn. You cannot move during the 2 rounds. All damage coming towards you is... Wait, oh no. Okay, no. The caster cannot move for 2 rounds, and all damage coming towards you is reduced by 4, and everyone engaged with you or who engages with you suffers 2 damage per round from the fire. So, the first person to be hit is going to be Philip, because you're closest. So Philip, you take 2 damage, but because of a previous thing that I cast, the next person, Oliver, is going to take 3 damage, and the person after that, Chris, is going to take 4 damage. And that means I recover 2...
Wait, why do I take 4 damage?
Because every time I inflict, because of the first verse that the Archon cast, every time that I inflict damage, my damage increases by 1 for the rest of combat. And so does my initiative and my weaponry.
Okay, so I'll take 2 damage because I have my aura.
Yes, your aura does protect you. So that means I recover... Yeah, and I'm going to recover 1 point of darkness for each of... so, like, the same thing. 6... I did 5. 5 and 2 is... yeah, 7. We're going to say... So, yeah. 9 and 9. And, unfortunately, I think that's all I can do for this turn.
Unfortunately?
Hey! All I did was burn you a little bit. Also,
first you should be impartial to whether we, what happens.
I am partial to the characters that I'm playing in this fight.
I see.
I just want to check. Okay, this lasts for 2 rounds. So, start of the next round, new wave of damage. So, Philip, you take 5 points of damage. Oliver, you take 6, and Chris, you take 7.
It's still the same round.
No, it's the new round because I just played at 2.5, and now it's Philip's initiative.
I see.
So everybody takes damage again from the fire. So yeah, as I said, Philip 5, Oliver 6, and Chris 7. -2, you just take 5.
So Philip, don't you have the aura, Taurus aura as well?
Damn it!
You do?
Do I?
Well, you did at one point in time, and I didn't recall you changing what you had.
I think Few's been keeping the aura that does more damage to people.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have the aura of...
The Ares?
Yeah, Ares
Yeah.
aura.
Oh, okay.
So just give me 1 second. I got to calculate this. So there's 5.
So I take 7. So
Yeah.
I take 5.
Yes, 5 and 5. That's 10, and Oliver took 6. So that's 16.
Unconscious.
So that is 4. Oh yeah, I recovered 4 points of damage each for that. So that is back to 12. I'm back to full life points again. Haha. Sorry about that. Philip, it's your turn. What do you do?
I do another swipey swipe with my sword.
Just one?
Let's do 2.
Okay. I have dealt 6 attacks, so my it's my weaponry that's boosted, not the rest. Okay, hold on, just 1 second. I just need to check. So currently I have a weaponry of 6. And technically my initiative's been boosted by 3 points, so I'm currently at 5.5 on the initiative. And the last thing that gets boosted is my damage, which I've already been taking into account. Okay, cool. So yeah, how many attacks did you say you were going to do, Philip?
2.
2. Okay, so each of them is at -3, and you're doing it against the diva?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. 2 attacks against the diva. So first attack, you hit me, and second attack, -3. You don't. So you only hit me for 4 life points this turn. Technically 5. Wait, no, you have the Ares. Yeah, so... Okay, yeah. So you would have killed him if you had hit with the second attack. But he's still alive. The diva's still alive. Okay, so yeah, you slash across him a second time. This time you cut off his arm. That seems to be made out of like pure flaming hot karma, and it's just like floating in the air. Chris, you're still holding on to like the struggling Archon, who's not trying to escape as much as you would have expected. He seems to be concentrating on reciting verses that are going to be helpful. What do you do?
I silence the opponent as a free action, automatic success, and then I begin strangling him, which is a unique action, automatic success.
Unique action means you can't do anything else in the turn, so you can't silence him and strangle him.
Well, strangling him is going to silence him anyway, because when you're being strangled, you can't breathe. That's how strangle works.
But he will still be able to cast normally.
Not if he has to speak, right?
Being an Archon, he doesn't really work. We're going to following the rules of the game. Technically, he'd still be able to cast.
Jeff?
Yeah.
Remember last time you tried to strangle a Archon or Diva?
Yes, I do.
It didn't work. They don't breathe.
Okay, so he doesn't have to breathe, but unless he's producing his sound by magic, he still needs to vibrate his vocal cords to create the sound to say the verse.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, just silence him. Strangling him won't do anything, if I remember from the last time. Although Oliver's unconscious, so he can't actually say any of that.
Right. So I'm already grappled with him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when I read through here, just to be clear, so the attack of overpowering an opponent, you must be engaged with the opponent and have a free hand.
Yep.
And then when you succeed, which I did,
yep,
you immobilize an opponent by twisting their arm, holding a knife, etc. You can now do the following actions.
Yeah.
That's not at that point in time.
You have overpowered him. So now you have the following actions available. Silence the opponent, free action.
But what I'm saying is...
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So I just remember in the past, the initial attack on him has been managing to grapple him, and then, like, we just begin with doing the moves. So, like, the silencing is a free action, right?
Yes. What you used to do was to silence and tighten your grip.
Right, but I'm not tightening my grip.
Okay, yeah. So what are you doing this turn?
I want to do the silence.
Okay.
Right, and I want to strangle.
Yeah, but strangle is a unique action. It takes.
Yeah.
You can't be doing any other action during this turn, which includes the free actions.
All right, so I'll just silence him then for now.
All right.
Does that mean that next turn I can either silence or strangle him?
No, he'll still be he'll be silenced already because you've got like one hand on his mouth.
All right. So I'll just silence him for now.
Okay. Which means, Oliver, it's your turn. Do you have Darkness Karma?
I have 1 Darkness Karma.
You can. Your Archon is probably going to use it to bring you back to consciousness.
Yes. And do I still have my turn? Or does that happen?
Yes, it's your turn. It's your turn.
Okay. What versus has the Archon cast? And Archons can only cast Dark verses, right?
Unless the Scorpio aura has been used, that is correct. Unless they have a way of like transforming their Darkness Karma into Light Karma.
Well, here's hoping there's no Scorpio aura. So the Archon has cast the multiplied damage, or is that the Diva?
You don't know necessarily what each of them casts, but you can roll astrology for every single verse cast to know exactly what they did. So four verses have been cast this far, so you can roll astrology in the order that I cast them to know what they did.
Let's not waste a bunch of actions doing that.
It's free actions. It's free actions.
Okay.
All of you can technically roll that to know what those did. So all of you can do 4 astrology checks. Now.
All right, I succeed on the very last one call.
The very last one that was cast was okay. So I cast Sense of Power, and then I cast Half of His Soul. That makes sense. And then I cast so the last one that was cast was On the Tree of Light by Amaterasu. It does so. Oh, none of you have been using difficulty on your first actions.
I mean, my first action was a 5 or a 7, so
yeah.
Mine was automatic.
Miserably.
Yeah, yours was automatic. And Philip, would your first attack have missed? Yes, it would have. So I didn't take 6 points of damage from that. I just took only, I think, 1. Haha, I'm doing better than I thought. Okay, cool. Wait, no. So you didn't cut off the Diva's arm. So that verse basically allows one person to erupt into flame, causing normally 4 points of damage to everybody. 2 points of damage to the people around them, causing difficulty from shining brightly and stopping them from moving while the verse is cast. That's what you know.
And is it a light or dark verse? I know that.
It's a light verse, and it was cast by the Diva.
God damn it! All right, I'll just cancel the Archon's first verse.
Ooh, okay.
I'll say I cultivate my kingdom. As I cultivate my garden by my own hands, I shall eradicate the weeds.
All right. So you cancel out the first verse that was cast, which was the one that increased damage, weaponry, and initiative every time I inflict damage.
Thank you.
Okay. So that drops my weaponry back to 0, and my reflexes. It doesn't drop my initiative back, but it drops my reflexes. Cool.
I didn't declare it, but can I stab? Because I haven't actually used anything that requires rolls yet.
That was
rolls that require minuses.
That was 2 actions, so you can stab at -6.
Don't you get the first action free?
Yes. Healing counts as an action.
Oh, right.
Casting the verse counts as an action. And since I'm still immobilized, you just need to pass 12, which you do not.
No, I only have a 6.
So, the only person who's able to speak right now is the Diva. And the Diva is going to... I can only do 2 damage with this, unfortunately. Okay.
Isn't it at the beginning of a round?
It's when I cast it and at the beginning of the next round.
Okay.
But I'm not...
So I can't do damage with it yet.
I could if I cast it now, but instead I am going to... I'm going to cast the other one. Separated from Leah, the Chevalier lost half of his soul. Chris, who's the dearest person in the world to you?
Who is the dearest person in the world to me? Yes. Let me see. We haven't really established any NPCs, so
yeah.
I mean, I guess mother and father are out there somewhere, but probably the person that I identify the most with right now is Philip.
Okay. So your skills are actually not halved. All of your area's skills are not halved since Philip is present. Okay. So that's...
I mean, unless you think that's a cop-out, then it would probably be my parents, but...
Listen, I'm counting on you to be truthful about this, and that's why I asked the question. So...
Well, technically, what is it? The person...
If the target's dearest person is not present, all of his skill totals under the sign of your choice are halved, rounded up. That's how it's phrased.
Well, then I guess it could go either way, because Philip would be the one I feel closest to, because we have a similar interest in the physical nature of the combat and all that, and I'm spending most of my time with the group, and he's the closest to me. But my parents, one or both of my parents would be the ones that I actually love, although I'm not currently terribly close to them. So.
Yeah. The spirit of this verse is based on the fact that Eon is supposed to have a twin sister, because that he's very close to, and when he's separated from her, he suffers a lot from it. So that's the spirit of the verse. I'm letting you choose whether or not this verse affects you.
I'd say it's probably Philip.
Okay. All right, so the verse doesn't affect you. New initiative. Philip, it's your turn. What do you do?
All right. I'm gonna go swipey swipe again. I'm just gonna try and kick some butt, because God, these people are kicking our butts.
Yep. So
I hate to say it, but don't we take 2 damage each?
No, it's over. It's already had 2 rounds.
Yeah.
This is the 3rd round of combat.
Yep.
Cool. Oliver's still conscious. That's great.
Yep. So roll weaponry twice.
Okie doke.
Against 18 and 24.
Fucking A. Okay. Roll twice at -3?
Yes.
Or first one free, second one -3?
Isn't that the one who
both-
currently
both.
has a 0 weapon skill?
Yes.
Or a 0 dodge?
No.
Oh, they still have a dodge? It's just a weapon they didn't have?
Philip is attacking the diva. And hitting.
Alright, second one.
Isn't that the... That's not the... Oh, okay, never mind.
Yep.
Yeah. You did the one
Ooh.
on the Archon, right? That spell. You took out the Archon spell.
That's what Oliver did, yes. Oliver
Okay, right.
took out the Archon spell. So I am dealt 8 points of damage, which means I only have 3 life points left as the diva right now. Okay, Chris, it's your turn.
We now begin to strangle.
Okay, so you deal 1 point of damage to the
2.
Archon. 2?
Hostage loses 2 points.
Okay.
Strangle does damage. That's convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it. Not to choke him out.
Okay. Oliver, it's your turn. What do you do?
Oliver will stab once.
Okay. The Archon?
Yes.
Okay. You just need to roll.
Darkness.
Take the darkness dice. Congrats. You did. All right. So wait. I had 10, which means I have 6 life points left. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, Theo, but you're the target of the next verse.
That's valid.
Separated from Leah, the Chevalier lost half of his soul, and your Ares skills are halved. But good news, the same verse that was previously cast on you has reached its end, so now you're able to shoot good again.
Yay!
Just take a step back and open up with an assault rifle.
And they are getting serious now. So what's his name? The diva is going to try to stab you. So please roll either weaponry or dodge to dodge that. Theo.
And that's for me?
Yes, Philip.
Okay. Any penalties or just a straight roll?
Well, your skills are halved, but apart from that, it's a straight roll.
Okay.
Wait. Okay. You didn't have? Yeah. You. Okay. So.
I assumed it was like a straight roll, and then we half the results. Is that what you meant, or did I completely misunderstand?
It's your skill total that got halved. So you
19.
Yeah. So you rolled a 19. So you blocked it properly. Chris, it's no, Philip, it's your turn.
Okay, that was quick. I will. Now that I have decent firearm skills again, I will take out my firearms then, and I take a couple steps back and just go bananas.
Okay. How many attacks do you do?
Let's go with 2.
Okay. You roll twice at -2. At -3.
Okay.
Ouch. You do. You just killed the diva.
Okay, great.
With the first attack. So yeah, the diva just explodes in a bright light, and you can see its essence is like being propelled back towards the sun to await the next Hermes that will summon it into his body. And Chris, it's your turn. What do you do?
Guess who's next, jerk off? And I continue strangling him.
All right. He takes 2 points of damage. And Oliver.
Guess who's next, jerk off?
Do we just all use the same one-liner now?
No, it's just Jeff used it twice.
Yep.
I'm trying to avoid more colorful metaphors since you are recording. I don't want to offend people, but I'm sure you can imagine it's a little bit more
Oliver's going
sinister and
yeah.
Oliver's going to look at the two of them and say,
The two of
"You've
them.
got this."
Oh,
And
yeah.
then
I nod.
sprint down the stairs,
All right.
drawing his pistol as he goes.
All right. You find this man in dark robes with lots of symbols all over them, hunched over alchemical equipment, and he seems to be distilling things into container. And you don't see the liquid, but it is glowing. It is glowing like a golden substance, and he looks up from what he's doing when you arrive, and then just turns to you holding the flask, and
Before he drinks it, can I try to get a shot off at the flask?
you may.
So that'll be -9.
You had to draw, you had to run, and you had to shoot. So that's just -6 actually.
Oh, okay. Nope.
Yep. Okay. So yeah, you shoot. He you see him like opening a book to the side, and he drops the flask into it, and the book absorbs it, and the flask has totally disappeared. He just doesn't. He looks at you and he says, "Well, that is very rude of you, coming in here, killing my diva, shooting me."
I'm not gonna say anything.
Okay.
And yeah, I've already made a roll, so I can't do any more actions.
All right. He is going to touch the book himself and disappears into his memories.
I mean, that is what I was going to do. I just can't.
Okay. Philip, it's your initiative. What do you do?
I look at Chris and I say, "Do you get that guy?"
I nod.
All right, I'll run after Oliver.
Okay. I think we're out of combat. Chris, you're going to be able to kill you kill the Archon in the next turn.
Yes.
And you all make it to the lab.
I'll yell into the book.
Okay. And then you touch the book?
Yep.
All right. Okay. You find yourself on a train. There's no passengers here. You're just alone in the you're just like on a train that's moving through what appears to be a countryside in winter, and it's a modern train too. I assume Chris and Philip also run into the book.
Yeah.
Chris?
Yes.
All right.
Try to touch it at the exact same time as Philip does, like just in case, you know, there's a difference in the passage of time or anything. So
Smart.
Oliver, roll for dodge because they're about to like just appear right above you. You dodge out of the way before they deal 1 or 2 points of damage to you.
That's good, because I can't take 1 or 2 points of damage.
I know. So yeah, you hear a voice over from the speakers that says, "You're too late. I finished making the potion, and according to my calculations, it will work, and I will be able to become the first one of the new gods. We are going to overtake the foolish old ones, and with the wisdom that I've accumulated over my very long existence, I will be a better ruler than they could ever have been. Please, don't. You cannot escape from this hell. This place is where I spent all of my, where I spent so long of my existence lost, thinking that I was in the right place when in fact I was in hell. If by the time you find the key out of here, I'll already be gone. So don't. I'll already been done conquering the world. So just please, don't. I still think that there's reasoning with you. So I'll come back, and if you haven't screwed up my memory of this place too much, we can confer on this a bit more. And like the
Yep. Hope you get back before we screw it up too much.
The line basically gets basically it's the line, like the speaker stops spouting noise. So what do you do?
Thank goodness. I get up and start walking towards the engine.
All right. Okay, you make your way to the engine, and
spending karma. How much does that recover?
It recovers when.
I mean, damage-wise, how much damage does it heal?
One point of karma will heal you 4 points of damage. If you are light karma will heal you bruised and wounded, and darkness karma will heal you unconscious and wounded.
I'm just bruised.
So only light karma can heal you, if you have some.
I'm out.
Okay, so you can't heal. You make
at least each of those only take like an hour to heal.
Yeah. You make your way to the you make your way to the engine, which weirdly enough seems like a very old Western engine. It doesn't fit the rest of the train. And like as the doors open, you see there's nobody piloting it. It's just going through the rails. And there's like a cold combustion engine like in front of you. What do you do?
Pull the handle.
To brake?
Yeah.
All right. It's yeah. You so yeah. You basically like you pull it. The train starts to the train starts to slow down until it stops.
Well, he talked about a key, and the best place to hide a key would be in the furnace underneath the burning coals. So I grab a shovel and start shoveling the coals out of there and tossing them out the window off the train.
All right. They land in the snow and start to and start to become extinguished. And when you are when you've thrown the last of the burning embers, the scenery completely changes around you, and you find yourselves in a village, in an old village with people wearing like the old Greek clothing, and you see you see Orpheus there.
Stealth.
Okay, yeah.
Stealth.
You see Orpheus who's there, and there's and he seems to be spending time with his family. There's a woman with him, and there's a couple of children running around them, and they the wife is heading towards the field, and he and the children are waving like goodbye at her. Out of their house, the chimney is producing colorful smokes, like alchemical smokes. So what do you do? You're stuffed. He doesn't see you.
And is that everyone is there?
Yeah, all three of you appeared there.
I'm still holding my pistol. I'm just going to raise and shoot him.
Okay. Go ahead and roll firearms.
He said, "Don't mess up my
memories too much."
Memories too much? This isn't messing them up at all, right?
Shooting his wife? Not at all. Or his
no,
kid?
Him.
Oh, no. Shoot his wife or his kid.
Oliver's not quite to that point.
They're only memories.
You shoot him. He yells in pain. Blood spurts out of him. His kids seem really confused because they don't know what's happening. His wife comes running back, and he turns to you, and with a look of confusion on his face, and he says, "Please, no, I did what you asked. I stayed out of your way. Gods, please don't hurt me." And then he pauses. He looks at them and he says, "Actually, leave them alone." And he orders all of them to he tells his wife to take the kids into the house, and he gets back up, and he's bleeding pretty bad. What do you do?
If no one has any qualms, Oliver's just going to shoot him again.
All right. Still a firearm that does 4 points of damage?
Yeah, it's the pistol, so.
All right. He takes another 4 points of damage. He's 1 point of damage from unconsciousness. And he just says, "Why?"
I'll look at the other two. Do they want to say anything?
I'm actually, while he's doing that, I'm going to be stealthing off into the house.
I'll look at the other one.
Fear?
I think Philip is just standing back up Oliver in case things start to get real dicey.
Okay. But Oliver seems to be asking for your permission to shoot him unconscious or dead.
It's definitely dead.
I'll kind of nod and give a look of go for it.
All right. One between the eyes.
All right. You've just killed Orpheus, and he's just dead. So what do you, Chris? What are you doing?
When I get in the house,
yeah,
I'm going to. How many kids does he have?
2.
Boy and a girl.
Yep.
He's a dad. He's a daughter. I'm going to grab his daughter
Okay.
and walk outside with her in a ready to snap the neck hold.
Okay.
Oliver's going to be like, whoa, whoa.
I wink at you.
Orpheus's wife is, trying to get you to stop taking her kid hostage, but she doesn't have nearly the necessary skills to stop you there. Oliver, you were reacting to a kid being taken hostage. What do you do?
Yeah, Oliver's going to be like, I don't know if that's entirely necessary, and gesture to the body on the ground.
Oh, he's already dead?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not in a talking mood with him.
Then I will turn to try and prevent the kid from seeing that and hand him back to his mom.
All right.
And gesture to them to go inside.
They're going to run away from the house, actually, because the mom is going to spot this and they're just going to book it. Okay. Some of the villagers are who seem to have been drawn by the thunderclap of the gun that you shot, but they're keeping their distance. Some of them are running.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
This is Oliver. Oliver likes to pretend he's a spy. He probably found a suppressor for the pistol.
Okay. All right then.
So still pretty loud, but
yeah, like some of the villagers are, like you see one of them is going to Orpheus and like checking his pulse and like being confused. Also, all of them are Orpheus seem to be speaking English, but all of them are speaking in ancient Greek. So some of them try to ask you questions, like probably like, "What did you see? What happened?" But like you don't, unless you have the domain Greek, you're unable to communicate with them.
I think I have the domain Greek.
Yeah, that's we established that was one of your specialties at the beginning of the campaign. So perfect. You're being asked, did you see what happened? Did you cause this?
No. Shit. I was like, I'm so excited. I have something that works, and then I'm like, I don't know what to say. Fuck my life.
I mean, you can truthfully say you didn't cause this.
Yeah. Yeah. No. This wasn't us. We're just as confused as you are.
And like the villager says, you think you might not be understanding his Greek perfectly, because he says that our world is going to end now that he's gone, and like you're not sure why, but yeah, he just like he turns to the other villagers and he declares, "Everyone, go to your houses and talk to your loved ones. Our world is about to end. Let's enjoy our last moments." And like they just like start to leave. So what do you do?
Go in his house. Run in his house.
Okay. Yep. You see a bunch of alchemical equipment,
including something that looks like a potion brewing.
No.
I thought we saw like alchemical smoke coming from the chimney.
Oh yeah, I meant to say like, it's not the golden potion, but when you look at it, it looks and smells vaguely like a working white light, but it's not exactly the same.
Well, anything that's here, we wouldn't be able to take out of here with us anyway, right?
Correct.
that book that he had? Is there a copy of that here?
No, you don't see. You see some scrolls with ancient Greek written on them and some alchemical symbols that you recognize from Stefan's lab. But that's about it.
All right, I'll go outside.
All right. So you can see this sort of like weird fog that is coming out from the sea, and it is like starting to roll over the fields and coming straight towards the village. What do you do?
I'll wait for it.
Okay. You are overtaken by the fog.
Well, I'm asking you guys. Wait for it.
Oh.
No.
Role playing. Wait for it.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. The fog completely overtakes you, completely obscures your vision, and you're even unable to see each other. But after a couple of seconds, the fog passes, and you see the village is there. It's back to it seems to be like back to normal, and yeah, people are calmly going about their daily business, and everyone is there, but the body of Orpheus has disappeared.
Are the wife and kids back in the house, or are they still gone?
When you look, yes, when you look through the, like, when you get close to the house, you hear them talking to each other in ancient Greek, and they seem to be pretty happy. Oliver, do you remember what I said earlier about how to leave a memory in this? How, like, the normal ways of leaving memories?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, that was basically what he was going to try next.
Okay.
Basically just suggest, shall we just try walking as far away as possible, unless someone else wants to investigate the memory here?
Well, if he's dead, how is his memory here? Shouldn't his memory be gone?
It seems that you were that the person you killed was not Orpheus himself, but the memory that he had of himself being there. You killed him in 3 shots, which is the normal amount of damage that a human takes. But since he had both an Archon and a Diva...
no, he didn't. We killed them.
Since he had done his work in red, he was supposed to have twice as many life points. So you should have killed him in 6 shots instead of just 3.
So yeah, I think this is probably a memory of before he took his work in white, black, and red. It's a memory of him inventing the potions.
All right, let's head out of town.
All right, you start to walk and walk, and you arrive basically at this edge of the world where it's just a cliff with fog beneath it, and it just stops there, and nobody really seems to mind or notice. But you have to walk like quite a while before you get there.
Shall we pass through and try to leave this memory, or Do people want to investigate some other things?
I don't know what there would be more to investigate here.
All right, works for me.
Because we can't trust the truth of anything that we see here, because anything we did find would only be his recollection, so it may not actually be true or accurate. It'll only be as he recalls it.
Yes, you're probably not wrong.
Yeah, I'm on the same page. I think just
Jump off the cliff?
as
Wait, this is
terrifying
I don't want
as
to
it
do that
is.
either.
This is a cliff?
Yeah, it's a cliff. It's the end of the world, basically.
No, I'm going to continue walking along the edge of the cliff until I find a place where I can be far enough away without walking off a cliff.
Okay. You keep going, and you realize that the cliff is very slightly turning, and you realize that you're on this giant circle. But make a search check, please. Okay. You spot as you're making your way around this giant circle that there is this mountain to the side with a tunnel carved into it, and you
Head over.
Okay. You find your way to the tunnel. What do you do?
Enter the tunnel.
Okay. You hear immediately as you enter the tunnel, you hear Philip's voice calling out to you behind you, telling you to come back. What do you do?
I take one step backwards.
Okay.
I don't turn around.
Mhm.
I continue facing directly forward the way I was going.
Yeah.
But I just almost like I go into reverse, and I reverse step back out exactly the way I came in.
Okay. You're back one step.
I'm going to guess you didn't just call me and tell me to come out, right, Philip?
No.
Right, because something in there made me hear you. And I don't know if it's because he doesn't want me to come out. Maybe he's in there trying to trick us. So I think we should all go.
I think you're right.
I step back in exactly the way I did.
All right. So all of you are going to hear the voice of the person dearest to you calling you and trying to get your attention from behind you. So I'm going to require a willpower check from each of you to resist the temptation.
Who is the dearest person to Oliver? Where is Will?
Willpower is Leo, first column top.
Right.
Nope. Apparently Oliver has someone that is very dear to him.
Yep. And Philip.
Yes. Getting that pulled up. It's being a little janky. Here we go. Come on.
Okay. So, so what we're going to say is that Oliver turns around and then
I grab him.
He ceases to be there completely, and Philip, trying to because Oliver was behind you, trying to figure out where Oliver went, you also turn around and disappear. Chris, you're at the edge of. You see the light at the end of the tunnel. You see it, but you can't hear either of your companions behind you.
To get out of a memory palace,
yeah,
right? Can you shake their bodies to rouse them out of it? Does that work?
No. Also, like, their spiritual body are in the memory right now. So if you went back to the memory palace, you couldn't wake them up either.
All right, I step back out again.
Okay. The fog is overtaking the landscape again, and Philip and Oliver, you as soon as you turn around, you find yourselves with the fog clearing inside of the village.
Swear we were just here.
Yeah.
Hey, Oliver?
But Chris is not with you.
Do I see them?
As you're stepping backwards out of the tunnel, you find yourself out of the tunnel, and they are nowhere near.
All right, I whistle as loud as I can, like a, I don't know, some sort of, multiple whistles.
Okay.
I don't know if we've determined how loud I can whistle. I'm hoping I can whistle very loud.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can whistle so loud it bothers your ears. That's how loud I'm trying.
You're trying to annoy him by whistling in his memory. Okay. All right.
Well, mostly I'm trying to whistle in case they're somewhere in whistle range to have them hear it.
I think so. Like the fog is starting to come over the mountain, and it passes through you, covers the entire landscape, and clears.
Does it go that?
But you're still on the mountainside when it clears.
Okay, but yeah, so I'm whistling really loud. Do they?
No, they're like it's a couple of kilometers away to the village, so they don't hear you. Okay. Philip and Oliver, what do you do?
Philip will look at Oliver and look back behind them and I think simply go, well, shit.
Orpheus is here with his family. Right now, exactly like you found him the first time you came around.
Do you want to kill him again just to feel better?
You know, I kind of do. Maybe not the best idea.
All right. I guess the other option is to talk to the monster.
Yeah. That one's not an enjoyable idea, but it might prove to give us something.
So what do you do?
I guess we go and approach him.
Okay. He turns around, smiling, and says, "Oh, hello, travelers. We don't get a lot of you around here. You seem to be coming from faraway lands. Your clothing are not adapted to our Mediterranean weather at all." And I think he addresses you in English.
Okay. Phyllis just goes, oh yeah, I was afraid we wouldn't blend in with the locals. Listen. Would we be able to have a conversation with you in private?
I don't see why not, but why would you want to speak with me? Is this about the cave of the gods?
The what?
The Cave of the Gods. Never mind.
No. I think you understand what we're coming to you about.
How so?
We lead a very interesting life and know that you probably do as well, and we just like some confirmation on some things and answers to some questions.
Naturally. If you're a fellow seeker like me who seeks to understand the world, then I'll gladly share what little answers I've found.
Wonderful.
That does not sound like a Hermes to you at all.
Yeah. I just look at Oliver awkwardly and kind of give a look of, should we continue, should we back out?
Oliver's going to say, yes, we'd welcome a sharing of knowledge with you. And do I have to roll subterfuge since I'm lying through my teeth about that?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. All right. So yeah, you give him some like morsels of like mystical information, and he seems very happy about it. And he says he'll gladly like tell you what he knows. He says there's a cave in this direction, which I visited a couple of a while back, and the gods reside always near this cave, and I found out a lot about them, and I even drank. I even saw that the source of their powers came from the flowers they were harvesting there, and they promised me, and they told me, and at the very end of the cave is a door, and I was and one of them told me that I had to keep this secret forever, but that I could share it with everyone. So he simply made me go through the door, and I was here, and things have been going really well since then, and I've been able to talk with people about it, but well, it's weird. It's strange. It's like the world it's always the same every day, which is why I'm very happy that you travelers have come here today. It's been a long time since I've had a conversation with someone new. That's all I know. Maybe I'll go to that cave soon. Try to get more answers from the gods. But in the meantime, I'm happy with my life here. Anyways, if you're interested in the gods, the cave is this way. And he points to the cave that you were just in before you turned around.
Well, thank you for your time. This place looks like lovely. This place looks lovely, though. Why would you ever want to leave it?
I know, right? You should stay here. There's so much we could talk about, and we could spend some time here. The crops are plentiful every year. The sea gives the sea and the lands and the land give us everything we need.
I'm sure they do, but it's missing some things that I'm used to.
I understand. Different lands.
Indeed.
So what do you do after that?
I suppose we should go to the cave.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. As you're making your as you're leaving the village, you see that there's this old woman who's like who like watches you with like a strong with a lot of suspicion as you're heading out of the village. But as soon as you're like far enough away, she goes back to whatever she was doing before. You find your way towards the mountain, and you find Chris there heading towards you.
Is he still whistling?
Yeah.
We definitely have to pass through this cave.
Yeah, well, we were, but you guys took off. You remember entering the cave?
Yep. And then someone was calling me. I didn't really recognize the voice.
Well, I heard Philip calling me. But of course, I didn't believe it was really Philip calling me. But when you guys left, I figured it was something strange going on, so.
Okay, so apparently Orpheus came here after speaking with some gods and has been here ever since.
Oh.
By the way, the way this memory works is nothing like what you've seen before. The fact that it transformed from a train to this without without any strange transition, and the fact that you that there is an edge to the world, none of this is coherent with the way you've experienced memories in the past.
It's all crazy to me. I'm just rolling with it.
Yeah, I don't think this is actually a memory any longer, or not entirely.
The worst part is that it's an accurate memory of a place that exists in the universe of Trinities.
Oh, I entirely believe that. There's something weird about the memory.
Okay. So, do you try to go through the cave again?
Yep.
Okay. Do you take your time?
No, on this try, Oliver's just going to sprint, and then when he's got some momentum going, he's not going to do that because that would be insane with the ability not to take damage. He's just going to try to sprint through it.
Okay. What do you mean by the ability not to take damage from it?
Oh, if he takes 1 damage, he's going unconscious. Mm-hmm. So
right. It is.
I'm not going to risk anything that might get him to take damage.
Well, how long has it been since we entered the train and all that?
Oh, we're gonna say
day.
Yeah, it's been a couple of hours. You all recover, let's say 4 points of bruised. It's been about 4 hours. Okay. The cave doesn't have any light in it apart from like the sunlight coming from the outside. Do you take torches in?
No need. I saw the light coming from the other side, you said.
At the after you'd gone in for a while.
Yeah.
The others didn't even spot it. But
yeah, so I tell them, don't worry, we'll be able to. There'll be light once we get in a little ways.
Okay. So, roll for who goes first?
Oh, I go in last.
Okay.
But we all sort of go in together, but just they go in. Like, in other words, what I want to do is if one of them turns around, I just want to bully them through.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, who goes first, Oliver or Philip?
Oliver's perfectly willing to go first.
Okay. So roll for willpower first. You're going to make it deeper than ever. You in fact spot the lights at the very end of the tunnel. Philip.
I think we should.
Roll,
if he doesn't come back, let's you and I grapple each other and go in and not let the other leave.
Okay. Philip, you roll for willpower, please.
Sorry, hold on. I was muted. Let me get that pulled up.
Oh, you have 0 in willpower. You need an open roll to get this one.
That's why I'm saying if Philip and I grapple each other before we go in, that way one of us doesn't make it, the other one can just force them through. Or try to, anyway.
Okay.
Sound good, Philip? So I'll roll too?
Yeah, that sounds good. Sorry. I keep muting myself and then forgetting.
All right. So Chris, you are able to make it to. You're able to like resist the call of the voices. Philip, do you want to take any primes and penalties?
I would love to. Let's do. Can I do slow to take my time with this?
Yeah, you can like take your time to prepare yourself before you head in. So like it's taking you a while to prepare, but it's taking you about an hour to like try to focus. So roll for willpower at +3.
Okay. There it is.
No.
Come on.
So, as you're making it to the end of the tunnel, Oliver's already like reached the light, but there's something really harrowing about the fact that like Stefan is calling you from behind you, Philip, and like you hear the scream that he screamed when he died, and you turn around just to check if he's okay, if he's actually here, and you disappear from within Chris's hands. Chris, you're at the edge of the light. You could make it through if you wanted. Oliver's already gone through. Do you?
No, I go back.
Okay. Oliver, you there is the very loud noise of a door slamming behind you, and you turn around, and there's this like gigantic metal door oozing karma that has like plenty of runes, all of which are alchemical runes for the 4 elements, and there's plenty of flowers growing around you, and it seems like the cave you just entered, but with a giant door blocking its way. You roll for astrology, please. No, you have no clue what
are stars?
What this place is.
Pretty much.
Yeah, like you like this is a place of like great importance in the Trinity's universe, but you have no clue what it is. Okay. So Philip, you find yourself in the village again. Okay, so hold on, just I want to do something. Oliver, what do you do?
Oliver is just going to sit next to the door
and wait.
Okay. Got his pistol out.
Okay. Okay, Philip, you find yourself in the village again, and there's this old lady that like immediately starts staring at you as soon as you arrive, and Orpheus is here, and he says, "Oh, you're back so soon?"
Hey. I just forgot something, but I'm heading back now.
All right, well, have a good day. Good travels.
Thank you, sir. And I will awkwardly walk away and then hurriedly run back towards the cave.
Okay. You find Chris at the edge of the cave.
All right. So I have an idea. Do you trust me?
Impeccably.
Then turn around.
Okay.
I put him in his sleeper hold.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
There's probably going to be at least a willpower check to not fight right before you go out.
Nope.
Normally.
I'm asking you to roll endurance under Taurus to not resist it, and if you fail, you fall asleep. Endurance is middle column Taurus.
Okay. There we go. And did you say at a penalty or just a straight roll?
Just a straight roll. You managed to resist it. Like it's taking Chris time to put you out. So like you're not like when Chris thinks you're like unconscious, you're actually going to be able to like wake up once you're in the tunnel. So both of you make a willpower check.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and make yours.
Come on. There we go.
Close. Close, but you open your eyes just as Chris is about to reach the light. Chris, make a willpower check. Yeah, Chris, you make it through and the door slams behind you. But Philip disappears from your arms just as you're about to
God
cross.
fucking damn it!
I turn back as soon as disappears.
There's the giant metal door. You've turned.
So I got Philip across, and then Philip went back.
Philip opened his eyes just as you were like touching the lights and crossing. Oliver is here. He's been waiting here for an hour.
See, you made it.
I opened the metal doors.
Roll for strength at...
that should be fine, right, for you?
It's like, I don't remember how they do it. No. It's one of the movable objects of this game. Roll... Yeah, I'm sorry. Even with... No matter how like well you roll, it's like... It cannot physically be pried open. But like, yeah, you're realizing that there's this like ungodly amount... This godly amount of strength holding the door shut. In fact, roll for astrology. See if you're luckier than Oliver. Ooh, no, that's just dead. Never mind. Okay, Philip, you're back in the village, and this time the old woman, this is what she looks like, yells at you and says, "Quit coming here. We don't want intruders like you. Nobody else seems to pay you any mind."
All right. I just immediately start running back towards the cave.
Okay. I guess roll for willpower again.
Alright, and I'm gonna try going slow to hopefully get a +3 if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah. Nope.
God fucking...
So yeah, the others you're waiting on the other side.
No, I'm going.
You're going?
Yeah, I'm not going to wait.
All right. You're not gonna what?
I'm not going to wait at that door
Okay.
anymore. I'm going to go. After seeing what I just saw, I believe that powers beyond my control have chosen to not allow Philip to come through, despite taking all appropriate measures I could think of. So it's in their hands and Philip's hands now. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I can't open the door to get back, so there's no reason to stay here.
Okay. So yeah, you as you leave the cave, you exit the book, you exit the memory, and you are in the laboratory again. Oliver, do you follow Chris? Do you stay at the door?
I'm gonna stay at the door and wait for Philip.
Okay. Chris, you what do you do? You're in the lab. You're out. You're out of the memory.
I'm going to get myself some food and some water, and I'm going to do everything I can to make their bodies comfortable.
Their bodies aren't here. Their bodies are in the physical world. They when you're in the memory palace, it's your mind, it's your spirit, and their spirits are inside of the memories right now. So they don't leave anything behind. Otherwise, you could just have stabbed Orpheus. In fact, when Orpheus went into memory, you could have burnt the memory and killed him.
Well, where are our bodies?
In the physical world. You're back in the lab that is under the temple in Orpheus's memory palace right now. You're out of the memory and in the memory palace that holds all of the objects that...
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. So theoretically, if I touch the
book,
I'll go back to the train?
Probably.
Or to the land, depending on whether the train has been deactivated permanently or just temporarily.
That is correct.
I touch the book. I go down. I touch the book.
Okay. You appear next to where Philip appears. So when you basically you're there when you see Philip heading towards the tunnel and failing again.
Okay, so I whistle to him and I run catch up.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna do this again.
All right.
This time I'm
endurance.
only going to put the sleeper hold on him in the proper way to apply sleeper hold. I'm not going to rely on his responses or anything. I'm just going to hold, using my martial art knowledge and my brawl skill and my knowledge of how this works. I'm just going to apply it long enough so that he couldn't be faking it.
Okay.
And I completely give in, knowing what he's doing, I don't resist as much as I can, beyond what's instinct.
Okay, yeah. The endurance check was just to see if you were waking up before you were meant to when you were going in the tunnel.
Yeah.
I guess make a what's it called? A brawl check against an endurance check for Philip.
Okay.
Which unless Theo makes an absurd roll, Philip is not going to pass.
Well, I'm going to take my time to really make sure that I absolutely perfectly apply it in the correct place before I begin applying pressure.
Okay, so you take a +3 for taking your time.
Sure. Yep.
You're going to fail your willpower check.
I know.
I'm doing...
All right. Endurance?
I'm doing endurance?
Yes. Under Taurus.
This is where you roll a 72.
Right.
You're like the guy they couldn't hang. what was his name, John Lee or something like that. They tried 3 times, couldn't hang him.
All right. And now, Chris, roll for willpower.
I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to take time. I'm going to do I don't care anything else. Okay. No defense, maybe.
No defense
for the bonus to willpower. Like I'm. In other words, I'm going to. If there's any danger in there, I'm going to wander right into it. I'm going to focus purely on my train of thought and emptying my mind and ignoring any influences that might come, almost lowering my actual perception in order to not be affected by it. So
that won't really apply, but because that only applies in combat most of the time. But instead, I'm gonna give you the risk penalty. If you fail this, Theo won't have the astrology check to figure out what the door is, because Theo will be unconscious for too long.
Sure.
Yeah. So roll willpower at +3. I think that's a success.
Nice.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So you make it out again, and the door slams again behind you. And Oliver's here.
Hey.
You just went that way.
Yeah, it took the long way around.
All right.
I realized this wasn't going to let me in, so.
All of you make it out of the memory and into the memory palace, and you find Orpheus is not.
I'll wake
there.
Philip up, by the way, when we get there.
You wait for?
Yeah.
Philip up when we get there.
You wait for what?
I wake Philip up when we get there.
Yeah. I think Philip wakes up in time to make the astrology check on the door. Could you make that check to figure out what this thing is?
It's probably not going to be that great, but I can certainly try.
You can't be worse than mine.
1 and 2.
Let's give it a shot. Hold on, my system is being really slow. Okay, here we go. Aquarius. Astrology.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
Holy shit.
So Philip,
That's shocking.
You know exactly what this is. This is what is called an omphalos. Do you remember that I like when I talked about like the setting, the Gemini, they were imprisoned someplace waiting for the final judgment, a place called the Labyrinth, a place that tricks the mind and creates weird subterfuges to trap people inside of it forever. You were inside of the Labyrinth, and this is one of the doors sealed by the gods that lead out of it. The door only opens to let people out.
Huh. Well, I definitely relay that to the others.
So that village is in the labyrinth?
Yes.
Where they trapped Gemini?
Yes.
So Orpheus isn't Pisces, it's Gemini?
No, Orpheus is just a man. Pisces, I don't know if Pisces had anything to do with Orpheus, or if she was just impersonating him.
Right. So you
brain hurt.
You make it out of the
memory into the memory palace.
And yeah, you exit to see like Orpheus. He's
charge.
Like he's just sitting in the temple, and you charge him, and before you can hit him, you there's this like force that stops you from moving. And you look next to him and you see an empty vial without a drop of content inside of it. And he waves his hand just a little bit and you're flung back. He says, "You're too late." You realize that the entire memory palace is shaking. It's shaking, and the things the memories that were floating outside of it are slowly going up, falling back towards Earth. And Orpheus is saying, "Well, this I guess my Devo was right. This wasn't safe to drink. It wasn't as it's not working the way it's supposed to." And like you can see like flashes of karmic energy coming out of him that are like just ripping his memory palace apart. You see cracks forming beneath him, and he turns to you and he says, "I could, I imagine I'd have a better chance of surviving right now if I could find the essence of a seventh god to add to the potion, but and I'm sure you would know where to find one. I hear you. I know you stopped one of my agents from getting the essence of another part of Melchior. But since you consider me an unwise enemy, there's no way you're going to save my life, is there?"
Nope.
I think you're the one that decided that you would be an enemy by your actions, not ours. Yours. You chose that.
He looks up, and like the roof of his temple is falling apart, and he looks towards Earth, and he says, "The gods have abandoned this place, and somebody needs to take over and make this place better. I thought I'd be the best suited for that because I'm the longest existing human. I've acquired wisdom and knowledge. You were wrong to try to stop me and to come here and to force my hand drinking this potion early. This place, this earth, without a proper person to guide it, it's all condemned. Final judgment is coming. I can feel it. I know why it's been withheld. There's another god, the 13th god, that's given the earth 99 more years. That's pushed back the final judgment. But it's not enough. The night sky is too dark, and there are hundreds of thousands of lives that were lived and recorded just in the first millennia before the Archons and Divas got detached from everybody else. You'll never be able to rewrite it all. You've been going through a fool's errand, and you stopped me, one of the only people who had a legitimate plan to stop the apocalypse. You failed. Earth is condemned not because of you, not because you and because you tried to save it without having a proper plan and a proper understanding of what you were doing.
Maybe if you had bothered sharing that up front instead of acting the way you did, you would not have caused this failure. And you're the one that chose to be opposing us by your actions.
You would have tried to share this elixir I was trying to make with everyone. You think everybody should has the wisdom to wield the power of a god? The gods themselves don't have that.
Where did you get that idea that we were going to share this potion with everyone?
That's what the Neo-Hermes do. That's your philosophy.
That's not my philosophy, and I never heard about this. We were going to share it with everybody? I look at Oliver and Philip. Did you guys think that there was a plan to give everybody the potion to make everybody gods?
I thought the plan was to make sure the potion never came into existence.
Right, that's what I thought.
You don't need more god. They're the ones causing the problems.
Well, the more people knew about this, the more there was a risk of it leaking. And since you've already shared the existence of my order of the Hermes with the world, it's only a matter of time before more people come looking for it.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you weren't trying to kill us all the time, we wouldn't have done it, would we? But you guys chose that path. You chose the path, not us. Don't blame us. Accept responsibility for your own actions and accept responsibility for where you are right now. It was your choice. It was your actions. It was your company's policy. It was your group's whole manifesto that led you to this point right now. You and you alone. And you bear the weight of this responsibility. And you bear the guilt for what you have brought about.
I didn't bring... I didn't bring about much apart from trying to kill you. You're gonna
How
have
did
to
that
take
work?
you're gonna have to take a responsibility for stopping my plan to save the world. That's all.
I'm going to have to take a responsibility for cleaning up your mess. And your orders mess. But that's what we've been doing every single day. In spite of the fact that you guys tried to kill us. In spite of the fact that you tried to ruin our name. In spite of the fact that you tried to get these potions and drink these potions to become gods. And I don't know where you got the idea that we were going to try and give everybody these potions. But that's completely preposterous. But maybe if you had bothered to try and talk with us instead of making all of these ridiculous assumptions, we would never be at the point we're at now. But you know what? Hindsight is 20/20. You made your bed, you're going to have to sleep with it now.
He nods, and there's a final shudder, and as this memory palace explodes, you're brought back to Earth, and you wake back up in your bodies. And that's the end. What are your characters going to do? I just wanted to take like 5 minutes to ask, what are your characters going to do after this? Are you going to keep rewriting, or are you going to do other things? What would your characters do on the long term after that?
Fix the mess that these people have been
But how?
continuously doing.
What do you mean by that? Like, what is that, the mess that you're cleaning up? What are you doing?
I think it's going to entail us sitting down and looking at what all our options are, finding out what this clown drinking that potion has done as far as what we can tell, and find out the best way we can at least patch the holes up before we look at replacing on a bigger scale. At least, look for what the quick fix can be, and find out what kind of allies we can call upon. Okay. I mean, at this point, now that hopefully their order has discovered that this guy got a potion and made the potion and drank the potion and it failed, so it's either going to snap them out of their fog and into reality, and they're going to kind of take that off their table, or it's just going to reinvigorate them to try even harder with a different one. So I guess what we're going to have to do is eliminate the nut jobs that still think it's a good idea, and see what we can do to maybe pull some of them out of that and join our goal, which would be to basically not do any of the things they want.
What about Philip and Oliver?
Philip would help with those efforts as much as he could, and most likely end up retiring from being a rewriter. I think he feels like he's had enough of his fair share, and he's not wanting to delve too much deeper into that. He'll keep up and help out with occasional things, especially if Oliver or Chris need an extra hand and they come to him for it. But otherwise, he'll kind of just go do his own thing and try and make his own legacy, not based on something that he accidentally plagiarized from his uncle.
Okay. And Oliver?
Oliver is going to use whatever influence he has with the Near Hermes to get a whole bunch more rewriters teams going.
Nice.
And then he's going to leave the Near Hermes and attempt to start a new, I say secret, but it's probably not all that secret, order focused on killing the gods as soon as humanly possible.
Nice. There is actually a path. There is actually like a group of people dedicated to killing at least one of the gods, Samael, to stop the entire apocalypse. So you might end up joining these people if you like end up finding out about them. All right.
Yeah, one god is looking a little bit too small scale.
It's a place to start. It's a place to start.
It's a good start, yeah.
Because basically, like, if the reasoning of those people is if you kill one of the Gemini, then the bet is off. Because the bet is about deciding whether which Gemini was responsible for the destruction of Eden, and just killing that one. And it's based on whether or not humans are good or bad. So if you kill Samael, who thought humans were bad, you might cancel the apocalypse, or you might just anger the gods. But like it's like one of the options to end the game is going into the labyrinth and killing Samael. So since you, on top of that, have some experience with the labyrinth, you've been in 2 of its parts. You could help out with that a lot. Okay, this was a fantastic campaign. Lots of fun. I'm really glad that we like kept it going for so long, and we'll see if we do a second one, probably with different characters. And like the new team that Oliver formed will have like new NPCs in it and stuff.
I'll definitely go kill the god with you, Oliver.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely offering positions to you too.
Yes, I would very much enjoy that.
All right. Okay, perfect. Have a good day, everybody, and I'll see you in some other games.
Yes, keep us posted. Good luck with your interview, and I hope it goes well. Let us know.
I will. See you.
Okay.
Yeah.
See you.
Hi everyone, and thank you for watching this video. If you want to keep up with all of the adventures on this channel, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell button so you can get a notification each time we upload the next episode of this story. And it would be very nice of you to like and share the video to help this channel grow. Have a nice day, everyone.